look them through a stereoscope, we receive a little bit of an effect. Have we checked? We never inspected this apparatus, if I'm not mistaken.
You have to pop up your two prints in here to start with, you see.
And then, when you look through the eyepieces, you can see the images in 3 dimensions.
The important thing is to get right is the position of the two prints.
I don't know who came up with the idea of a stereoscope, but it's really quite fascinating. Can we open it? Yes, we can. Okay, that's how it happened. Oh, look at that! It's totally changed shape, just from one little button press.
Well, that is what the button's for, you know. You're just like Hurley. You boys love pressing buttons, don't you? Especially if you don't know what they do.
Us boys, says the 10-year-old girl.
Anyway, now you can see what it really is as stereoscopes, can't you?
Okay, so now we put the picture in here on this side, the other picture on the other side, and when you look through this, it's gonna make your eyes cross-eyed and they're gonna be merged into one. Okay, we already read this. So there's nothing inside, just a spring mechanism. Okay. And then we have, oh, that's it. Order, please. Let us resume proceedings. Witnesses, you will now retake the stand. Oh, it's gonna be the Skulking brothers back at the stand? Yeah. And Gregson, still. Oh, do I need to bring something to eat? My snack at hand is pitted prunes. So I don't have anything scrunchy to make the crunch noise at the same time as. I guess I'm gonna have to fill my mouth in silence and let the sound of the game do the noises. All right. So I presume you heard the defense counsel's summation examination. Oh, yeah, Governor.
Yeah, I did, Gav, I did.
Mr. and Mr. Skulkin. Core, blimey! This is going to be hard work. Earlier in this trial, you gave the following testimony about your action after you entered Windibanks. Well, it was bedlam soon as, weren't it?
It was, Nash, it was. Didn't we have time to pull me dukes on me Lucy Loken?
However, that was a lie. You brothers...
Core, blimey!
On the night in question, you rifled through the items on the victim's counter.
We've never nothing of the sort. How'd you figure that out?
Ooh.
You will now give formal testimony once again. You will tell the court precisely what happened on the night in question. And this time, you will tell the truth.
Each lie that passes your lips serves to increase the severity of your punishment. Breaking his glass. And that crushing blow to your chances of ever seeing the light of day again. Exclamation mark from both. A thought worth pondering, perhaps. Say no more, Gov, we hear ya.
We'll blab, we'll squeak, we'll peach.
Witness testimony. Alright, we did knock a few things over, but we weren't rifling for nothing.
I was when we heard the gunshot, see? Made us both jump and all that stuff went flying.
Lummy didn't have give me a fright. We was thinking the shorter come out the door and get us next.
We stuck everything back when we found it and scampered straight into in the back. Oh, straight from in the black.
Oh, we could have shot the pawnbroker, see? We never even had a chance, did we? Hmm.
So you admit to the defense's accusation? You did indeed ransack Mr. Windybank's countertop on the night in question?
No, ransack, Governor, no.
That's right, Nash, that's right. It's more like we tied it up. Yeah!
Van Zeke, ...
Sorry.
By their own admission, these brothers entered the pawnbrokery under dubious circumstances. However, they panicked and fled on hearing the gunshot, having first made good their mess. The way you say it, we hardly sound like roughs at all.
We don't, Nash, we don't. Can't you make us sound a bit more cutthroat?
It can't just be coincidence that these men showed up at Windybank's last night. There's more to their testimony than meets the eyes, I'm sure of it. Okay, let's see about that. Cross-examination. Illegal entry, the whole truth. Alright, we did knock a few things over, but we weren't rifling for nothing.
Hold it!
If that's the case, then why did you testify to that effect in the first place? Oh well, you know, we aren't exactly squeaky clean, are we?
We ain't, Nash, we ain't. If we admitted to something like that, people would think we was up to no good.
Well said, Ringo, me old China. We only land ourselves in even more trouble. And in fact now, as a result of lying in your previous testimony, that's exactly what you've done, landing yourselves in even more trouble.
That's rotten luck.
Says the rotten apple eater. Witnesses! Explain your actions to the court. Why did you ransack the victim's counter? We never ransacked nothing.
Right, Nash, right. More like we tidied the place up. ... Sorry. It was when we heard the gunshots, eh? It made us both jump and all that stuff went flying.
Hold it!
So what you're saying is, the sound of the gunshot shocked you so much, you knocked all those things off the counter? Oh well, it shook one of those that much, yeah? This bag of nerves needs to learn to keep his shirt on.
Look, it was that, alright? Blimey, me that granny would have woken up that bang.
A big Rob here screamed like a blooming baby and fell over on the counter. He knocked over a load of books, a candlestick, and some skull whatnot.
That got tangled in some marionette who knocked over a picture frame who knocked them scales on the floor.
You've really mastered working quietly then.
What a racket! Me granny would have been scared back into her grave and clatter like that.
So, in short, the gunshot you took by surprise. And then some. I mean, because... What? I mean, it was quiet as a mouse, and then all of a sudden, bam! And now Gregson is making a noise and eating profusely.
Excuse me!
Inspector Gregson, do you have something to add?
Like I keep saying, I don't appreciate being lumped in with those scoundrels.
No, something to add about their testimony. You seem to react just now at what Mr. Skulkin said. Did it make you think of something? Gregson?
It's probably nothing, of course. I wouldn't even bother to mention it only. Well, the fact is, cases don't get solved if you ignore the little details.
How about just tell us what's on your mind?
Okay. As you know, we brought these fellas into the yard for questioning last night. And the statement they gave them told a slightly different story than what they're saying now.
Exclamation mark, exclamation mark.
Did it? You claim you heard the victim shout something out before the gunshot.
Oh, might have, God. Might have. Does ring a bell now that you mention it.
Granted, it's only a minor detail, but still, I can't help feeling like perhaps you've been a bit sloppy with your testimony here, eh, fellas?
If I discover the witness's testimony has been any more sloppy than it has hitherto proven to be, I shall be forced to bring the very harshest punishments to bear against them.
Easy.
Well, we'll get it right this time.
Well, that's it, yeah, it's all coming back to me now.
Then speak! Supplement your testimony with whatever details have miraculously returned to your questionable mind, sirs.
Alright, you are, Gov.
Just before the gunshot, we heard a voice shouting out, "Give me that gun!" That's not usually what Genie would do. The gun was on the counter, right? It didn't need to say, "Give me that gun."
Hold it!
That doesn't make any sense. So, in fact, you heard the voice and the gunshot almost simultaneously. We did, Gav, we did!
Although, I suppose if you're being honest, we heard a kind of wavering voice before the yell and all.
Oh, if you don't want to get shot, give me that gun! Bam! Kind of thing. So they reproduce, they mimicked, and they reproduce. If you don't want to get shot, give me that gun. But there's only one gun. What are they going on about it? Which item should I prove? Like, I know what's wrong with this testimony. The hard part is always how to prove it. Like, which is the best piece of evidence that's gonna prove them wrong? So that's usually a big challenge in these kinds of games. A career in acting tragically missed. And where were the voices coming from? Could you tell? Of course we could! From the other side of that door behind the counter it was. From the storeroom where the victim was found dead. And the voice you heard, it was that of the victim, Mr. Windibank? On me granny's life! Of course it was! But he didn't... Give me the gun or you will be shot. You only owned one gun, only one bullet. They're posing. On his granny's life, cause it was. Of course it was. Oh yeah, I'm trying to remember, like, cause I always switch between Dalton and Butthead. For some reason. So that would mean that you both knew Mr. Windibank and the sound of his voice?
So that would mean what?
What, Nash? What? Any ideas?
Yes, Console, indeed it would.
Nash, da.
Nah. We didn't know the geezer.
How am I supposed to deny it when that bloke and all the fancy clubbers giving us the evil eye? Van Zieg's ... He's not happy at all. If you value your lives, you will ensure your testimony is accurate and true. Oh, me granny's life it is. You gonna drink? There you go. I'm gonna keep my bottle nearby.
On his granny's life, it must be.
It's a good job this granny's dead. To summarize, then, immediately after hearing the voice of the victim, you then heard the gunshot, causing you to stumble and upset the items on the counter, scattering them over the shop floor. Yeah, make it sound like we're clumsy.
Don't forget we tied it up after like good little boys. Anyway, the way I see it, the bloke who owned the place was holding a gun, so he should have just fired instead of yelling at the girl.
The bloke who owned the place was holding a gun, so he should have just fired instead of yelling at the girl. Okay. But he wasn't holding the gun! He wasn't holding the gun. Okay, so this is where the contradiction is. The bloke who owned the place was holding a gun. He wasn't holding the gun. Because on the picture, it says clearly that she was holding the gun.
Objection!
There you go. You're saying that on the night in question, the victim, Mr. Windybank, was wielding a gun. Is that correct?
That's it, Gav. You got the picture.
He has, Nash, he has, no question.
And yet, the photographic evidence from the time of the incident clearly shows that Mr. Windybank was not in possession of a firearm on any description.
Objection!
You surprise me. Does the defense really intend to highlight evidence that compromise the position of the accused even more?
Furthermore, the defense has failed to establish that the photographic print presented was taken assumably short time prior to the victim's death. Your chronology is severely lacking, counsel.
Yeah, that's right.
Too right, Rash, too right. The old geezer could have been about to turn the tables on the girl, eh?
Hardly likely.
No, I'm afraid this won't stand as conclusive evidence.
Ugh.
Continue with the cross-examination, counsel, and heed my earlier warning, witness.
Okay, so I got it right, but that didn't make the story progress.
Skulking, never skulking.
Okay, so let's just press. The bloke who was holding the place was holding a gun, so he should have fired instead of yelling at the girl. You're saying that Mr. Windybank had a gun in his hand? Oh yeah, bet that was a sight, eh? Them waving them guns at each other must have got pretty heated. I mean, just before he shot it out, we heard the geezer say if you don't gonna get shot.
Didn't really sound like he meant it, mind. But more of an empty threat, you could say.
Mr. Windybank was known to keep a revolver on his shop counter at all times. People say that to protect the articles in his keepings, he'd rarely put a bullet in someone's head if required. That's someone being himself, of course.
Good grief! Extraordinary devotion indeed, if I'm alarmingly misguided.
Well, he certainly sounded like he was ready to pull the trigger the other night. Only the person was got shot and beat him to it. Cooked his goose proper.
I bet he wished he'd squeeze the trigger instead of wasting time shouting, "Give me that gun!"
It was directly after those words that you heard the gunshot.
Was more or less at the same time, Gov.
Give me that gun!
Bam! Kind of thing.
Yeah, a career in acting very tragically missed. Okay. Yeah, when we heard the sound of someone hitting the deck. High five. Before everything went dead quiet.
After that, we done the slapdash job tidying the place up.
Allow me. He didn't half give me a fry. He was thinking the shooter come out the door and get us next.
Hold it!
So you didn't try to open the storeroom door then? Not on your life.
It went deadly quiet after all it did. Put the wind right up me. But anyway, the door was locked, weren't it? No way that was opening.
Yes, of course. It was locked from the inside, or so we've been led to believe.
It was, Gov, it was, from the inside.
Right, so we had no way of knowing what...
Right, so we had no way of knowing what was going in there, did we?
I guess it's kind of hard because I don't want it to sound too close to the judge. Okay. Unless there was some other way to get a view of the inside of the room, like through the keyhole or a spy hole, perhaps?
Don't ring no bells, don't light no lights.
We had to cut and run before we noticed anything like that.
We're still cutting our teeth in this game, see? But one day...
Pose.
We really cut the mustard.
Blaze got it out. But as we know, behind that door was the victim's lifeless body, with the accused not 2 feet away. Yes, unfortunately. Gina wasn't there, unconscious, with the gun in her hand. To confirm, would it be correct to say that neither of you set foot inside the storeroom?
That's right, Gav, that's right.
Could have been if we wanted to.
We stuck everything back where we found it and scampered straight into him in the black.
Yes, whereupon you fired a shot from your own gun, Mr. Hellock Sholmes.
We was a bit hasty there.
We was, Dash, we was. Truth be told, it was already shaking like a leaf when you love turned up.
If you're shaking like a leaf, don't put a loaded gun in your hand.
Good advice, miss, good advice.
Truth be told, mine went totally blank.
Before your mind goes totally blank, make sure you don't have a loaded gun in your hand.
Mental note made, miss.
After that, we legged him down the street, but apparently we looked dodgy to the coppers or somewhat, so they clapped the derbies on us like winking.
And after you've been handcuffed, the police found this revolver in your possession, correct?
Well, yeah.
Well listen, that proves it, doesn't it?
Huh?
We could have shot the pawnbroker, see? We never had a chance, did we?
Hold it!
And why should we believe that?
What? Well, 'cause it's true, ain't it?
The place was totally empty when we went in.
At that time, the victim was already in the storeroom, having been forced to open the door by the accused with a gun to his head. Exclamation mark. In other words, on the night in question, these two witnesses never even laid eyes on the proprietor of the pawnbrokery, Mr. Windibank. Correct?
You've got it, mister.
Down to a T.
So the Skulking brothers never actually encountered Mr. Windibank. Is that really true, I wonder? That's it? That's the full extent of their testimony?
What is it, Bruno? You look very fierce. I could pour you some herbal tea if you're tired.
Oh, thank you, but I'm fine. Being such a logical thinker, you'd probably laugh. But I feel as though these brothers are still hiding something important. It is nothing more than a feeling, though. I have no proof to support it.
Well, feelings can be very logical at times.
Sorry?
People's expression, the movement of their eyes, the words they choose. You can't take all that in and your brain will quietly analyze it to come up with a feeling like you described. You've concluded that there's something suspicious about the testimony without knowing why, that's all. I think you should trust your instincts.
Iris, thank you. Sometimes I think she's 10 years old, I must be 5. I think if she's 10 years old, I must be 5. We did knock a few things over, we weren't rifling for nothing. Just before the gunshot, we heard a voice yelling out, "Give me that gun." The bloke who had owned the place was holding a gun, so we should have fired instead of yelling at the girl. Lawman didn't have give me a fry, was thinking the shooter come out of the door and get us next. We stuck everything back where we found it and scarpered straight into him in the black. We could have shot the pawnbroker, we never had a chance. But they claim they never saw the guy. Okay, I'm gonna present everything again. Because there are two new testimony. This is new and this is new. Okay, I'm gonna try to press the second sentence, see if it goes something new. I'm gonna praise the third one. That statement could be a contradiction, but that doesn't help the case at all. Like, they thought that he's gonna be shooting next, one bullet in the chamber, but they didn't know that. So there's not really a contradiction here. We stuck everything back where we found it and scampered straight into him in the black. Did I press this? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Could they have shot the pawnbroker? I tried to recollect everything from what they've told, like the order of events. Wait! They tried to put everything back together, but they broke the lamp, and that was never fixed. Okay, let's see if it works. Maybe that's not it. I think I'm gonna save. Wait. Here. Saving here. Oh. Sorry. Okay, I saved. Now I'm gonna present the second picture.
Objection!
No. That reveals a damning inconsistency. The last statement.
Damning, you say? As I look at you, Console, I see your trembling hand, your pallid expression, and your perspiring brow.
Huh?
It seems to me that is the damning inconsistency here, with the misplaced confidence of your assertion.
There you go, punishment. Sorry. He has a damning tongue.
You invited, sir.
Okay, I'm gonna try something stupid.
Objection!
Yeah, might as well, since I'm gonna reload.
I'm sorry, Console, but I failed to see the connection.
Oh,
And for heaven's sake, would you kindly desist from that wide-eyed, panic-stricken look we are wont to wear?
but it's the only panic-stricken look I know. Okay, I'm gonna try to present it again. It should be... I don't know why it's not...
Objection!
Objection!
Okay, so probably I got it right, but this evidence is too weak. I have to find something else. Let me check. What else? What other proof we have that Mr. Windybank wasn't holding the gun at the time? The gun itself said that Gina was holding it when she was found unconscious. Ah! In the picture she was holding it, but maybe he got it back, but she was holding the gun when she was found unconscious. Okay, let me and try this. If that's the answer, it's gonna be stupid. Okay, the gun itself.
Objection!
No, okay. Clearly at odds with this piece of evidence. Okay, I'm gonna try something else that's gonna be silly. And if that's not it...
Objection!
Yeah, no. Let's just consider the implication of that statement for a moment, shall we?
What implication, Counsel? Nothing strikes me about it.
Exactly. There's nothing striking about it.
What does strike me is your propensity for DNA, however.
Oh, I need to clear my head and come at this again from a different angle. Okay. Straight into him in the black. What else were they holding? Oh! I'm looking at the crime scene floor plan. Oh! Oh my god, Shaster! Yerp! Season change, time passes by. As the weeks became 6 months becomes a year. Thank you very much, Say, for your 6-month sub and taking care and using the September, I believe, taking advantage of the September for your sub. I don't know if it's because you were on auto sub and it used the discount. Oh, you didn't use a September. Oh, because you probably did buy more subs in a bundle and like it's like auto resubs. I see, I see. How you doing? I had sub for 6 months. Oh, and this is your final one. Really? Oh yeah. It's been. I thought you only resub for 3. I didn't know you took a 6 months bundle. But yeah, I'm so happy. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You took 6. Good, great. How you doing? I'm in the middle of an investigation and I'm stumped. I have an idea of how to get the answer myself, but I want to use my noggin before using the story mode trick because I'm stumped. You're gonna save, so don't know if I can sub next month. It's okay, but thank you. You're okay. Okay. Well, in any case, Shay, I appreciate very much your support, your help. I appreciate that you get to give me some stuff. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So now I appreciate you, good sir. I appreciate you more. Shay. All right. So now we have a murder case in our situation. The pawnbroker was killed by a girl who we defend. She was holding this guy's gun in her hand. She was found unconscious near the body with the gun in her hand. The door was locked from the inside, and now we have testimony from 2 crooks who witnessed the thing. They said that they hear a sound. They say the victim yelled, "Give me that gun," and then there was the shoot. Oh wait, the guy was shoot from the back. Oh, okay. No, sorry. I think I just found the contradiction myself just by saying that out loud with you. So I'm gonna reload because I did a lot of mistakes. The guy was shot from the back, so the way they were mimicking it, he was standing in front of the girl saying, "Give me that gun!" So it's either the second or the third one. Just before the gunshot, we heard a voice yelling out, "Give me that gun!" But it's impossible because on the picture at the... Where's the autopsy report? We have a picture and it says also that a single bullet wound in upper half of victim's back. So it's... I'm gonna see the crime scene photograph. He was shot in the back. So I'm gonna try this one.
Objection!
Oh, it's probably not that sentence. There's clearly something odd about that last statement made by the witness, says Renosuke, raising his hand.
There is clearly something odd here indeed. Your behavior, Consul.
Oh? Please, don't mind me.
That would be significantly easier if you have lower your hand.
Oh, I won't lower my hand until I prove my client's innocence, as long as it's quite quick. Okay, so I'm gonna present the other evidence. Maybe it's the other one, the post autopsy report.
Objection!
Okay, it's not this one. So it's gotta be the other statement.
I failed to see the connection.
Okay, this one we saw.
For heaven's sake, get rid of that panic-stricken look on your face.
Well, that's the only panic look I can make. The bloke who owned the place was only a gunshot fired instead of yelling at the girl. Okay, we're gonna try the picture of the crime scene.
Objection!
Oh, was that it? So you're saying that on the night in question, the victim, Mr. Windybank, was wielding a gun. Is that correct? Oh, so that's the same as before, but I use another piece of evidence. But... that's it, Gov. You got the picture.
Yes, Nash, yes, no question.
And yet, photographic evidence obtained immediately after the incident clearly shows that Mr. Windybank was not holding a firearm of any description.
Eh? You what?
Gordon Bennett, that ain't right. Okay, so I got it right. It was the right statement, but when I use a wrong evidence instead of penalize me since my logic was sound, the evidence I presented was not good enough. Okay. Gordon Bennett, that ain't right.
Objection!
There could be no question that the victim's revolver was used in the incident. I would remind the court that Mr. Windybank's gun was found at the scene. Not only was it identified as the murder weapon, but it was found in the accused's hand. Rabble. Yeah, that Maltooler used the victim's old gun to finish it off. Give me that gun!
Blam! Kind of thing.
Hold it!
No, that's the problem. That's the pose. Stay exactly where you are, right there.
Eh?
If the crime had taken place as you so colorfully described in your testimony, it would give rise to an undeniable and significant inconsistency in the final moments you just acted out.
Goodness, are you sure, Counsel?
You intrigue me, my learned friend. But let's see some evidence to support your claim. Where is the proof that demonstrates his disconsistency is the witness portrayal of the victim's final moment? You know what? Since it's gonna be, I think, a pretty long trial and they made 2 mistakes already, I'm gonna load and redo the same thing because I didn't expect that the thing I picked was gonna be this one. I don't mind having to replay that cutscene, but I want my full bar, so when it's gonna be later in the... Okay, so it's this one, and I present the other picture. Because I don't think I'm gonna have a chance to refill my life bar, and if I hit a game over, I'm gonna have to not reload, but redo a lot of story because the way that happens. I think you were there last time I made a game over on episode 2 because of walking around and stuff like that. It's quite kind of a chunk. It's like 10 minutes of streaming, just like re-scrolling everything.
Objection!
Alright, so...
Objection!
So yeah, the difference here with compared to other Phoenix Wright is like sometimes you need visual help, like this one, because when they do reenactment, it's like the stabbing of it's like the stabbing during chapter 3 when there was one juror who said that he stabbed in a downward position, and another one who said that he was stabbing from the left.
Hold it!
Alright, so this is where I need to present the proof that demonstrate this inconsistency in the witness portrayal of the victim's final moments. Now I present the picture. Or the autopsy report. But both are good. We hear a Fukchoim shot in the back.
Take that!
According to their testimony, the witness claimed to have heard the shout of "Give me that gun," followed by the gunshot.
Indeed, with the 2 events happening almost simultaneously, or so we've been led to believe.
Yes, that's right. Now, if that testimony is true, it would mean that at the moment of death, the victim and his attacker would have been facing each other. However, if I could ask the court to study the photograph of the victim's body again, you can clearly see that Mr. Windybank was in fact shot from behind. So, as I stated before, there is An undeniable inconsistency in your testimony, Mr. and Mr. Skulkin.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's the god honest truth.
It is, Nash, it is. When he was shot that night.
The shopkeeper had the gun in his hand. We saw it with our own bleeding eyes.
Did I hear you right just now? You actually saw Mr. Windybank holding a gun? Somewhat like that might have slipped out. Exclamation mark. They're contradicting themselves. Like, they say that they never saw the guy at all, and now they say, oh, I saw him holding a gun. So now they're contradicting themselves, like they're burying themselves. I don't need proof at this point. I just have to let them talk, and they're gonna dig their own grave on their own. Van Zieg's exclamation mark. Ladies and gentlemen, you have all just heard the admission by these two witnesses that on the night in question they actually saw with their own eyes the victim wielding a gun, which can only mean that despite their testimony to the contrary, the Skulkin brothers must have encountered the victim in person.
Nash, no, yeah!
Rubble.
Order! 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 Witnesses, explain yourself at once!
Well, the thing is, it was supposed to, it would seem that my previous warning fell on deaf ears. I made it quite clear that false witness would be the death of you. Exclamation mark.
Am I to understand that you replaced the untruths of your original testimony with renewed lies?
Ever so sorry, Governor. Truth is, we,
Cut it out, Nash, cut it out. If we blab now, you know what they'll do to us.
Hey, what are they talking about? Let me make your position here perfectly clear. You will talk. There is no other option available to you. Bruv, come on, the game's up.
But he'll have our guts for garters.
In choice, it hasn't quite sunk it yet. No matter how hard you try to hide it, the truth will come out.
On the night in question, it is now apparent that you brothers met face to face with the victim. I demand that you testify again to explain the precise circumstances under which this meeting took place.
Do we have to?
On pain of death. I suggest you make yourself fully aware that this is your very last chance to tell the truth. Encounter with the victim.
Alright, so we just got inside the gaff and he gave a sigh of relief when the geezer shot his mug.
Give me that gun, he bellowed, and then he flew at us like he was possessed. I thought we had it.
For an old geezer, the bloke was strong as an ox. He chucked over me in the counter.
I pulled my gun on him, and then he legged through that door into the back room.
We never had nothing to do with killing him. That's all what happened, I swear.
Okay, let me guess. The guy who yelled, "Give me that gun," was actually Herlock Sholmes. So that wasn't Windybank. So that's why they said that we never saw the victim, but we saw the guy holding a gun or something like that.
That's what happened, I swear.
So you're now telling us that moments before the victim was killed in the storeroom, you in fact encountered him in the main part of the shop. Well, yeah, sorry.
Well, we find ourselves at an interesting juncture. This changes matters considerably.
But honest, Governor, this time,
This time, Nash, this time, we ain't no guffing. We've got nothing more to hide. We've got nothing more to hide.
Very well. Counsel for the defense, you may proceed with your cross-examination.
Yes, my lord. This is it. The moment I've been waiting for. Cross-examination. Encounter with the victim.
Alright, so we just got inside the gaff and he gave a sigh of relief when the geezer showed his mug.
Hold it!
When you say geezer, I presume you mean the victim and proprietor of the shop, Mr. Windybank?
Well, who else? Sorry, that's right.
We was keeping a close eye on the entrance to the gaff, obviously. But we never thought no one was gonna come out of the back room like that.
The back room being the pawnbrokery storeroom.
Yeah, that must be where he popped up from. Only place he could have been.
So it would seem the victim was already in the storeroom when these brothers entered the premises.
Which means Jeannie must have been in there at that point as well.
But that doesn't make sense, does it? If Gina has threatened Mr. Windybanks into the storeroom with her at gunpoint, then why would have emerged from the same room all alone when the brothers arrived?
Oh, I don't know.
So probably Gina was rendered unconscious for some reason, and she fell in the storeroom. And when he came out, he didn't have the gun when the Skulking brothers arrived. Did you see that the accused at that time?
What? That mall tooler? Couldn't tell ya.
No way, Cobber. We had bigger fish to fry then. I mean, the old geezer just lost it. Give me that gun, he bellowed, and then he flew at us like he was possessed. I thought we had it.
Hold it!
You mentioned that Mr. Windybank shouted those words in your previous testimony too. However, you claimed that you heard him yelling them on the other side of the storeroom door. Oh, did we?
But the truth is,
he was shouting those words at you, wasn't he? Yeah. Was the victim Mr. Windybank wielding a gun at the time?
Was he ever? Blimey lommy, a great ugly barrel he had, pointed straight at me frontispiece.
So what you're saying is, you definitely saw Mr. Windybank with the gun at that time, is that right?
It is, Gov, it is. Spot on.
And then all of a sudden he came at us, he did.
It was Bedlam. I didn't know he was going up for who.
You were clearly all going for each other.
Like Nash said, we thought we had it, I mean. For an old geezer, the bloke was strong as an ox. He chucked me over the counter.
Hold it!
Yes, I noted that you mentioned the counter in your previous testimony too.
Well, yeah, of course we did.
He knocked over a load of books, a candlestick, and some skull, whatnot.
Dad got tangled in some marionette who knocked over a picture frame who knocked them scales out on the floor.
So in fact, it wasn't the sound of the gunshot that shook you and made you knock those things off the counter? Well, Big Bruv here went flying over that counter like a gunshot, I can tell you. Then the old geezer pinned him.
He did, Nash, he did. If you hadn't been there, the bloke would have flattened me like a blooming pancake in seconds.
Scrolls, at the time in question, the alarm was raised at the local police station via secret cable from the pawnbrokery. There is a button under the counter used to activate it, which was presumably pressed by the victim. That's right, when the brokers fled the scene and back onto the street, they ran straight into the arriving police, didn't they?
Poor Mr. Windybank. He did everything he could to protect his shop.
I pulled me gun on him and then he legged that through that door into the back room.
Hold it!
Were you intending to shoot Mr. Windybank? No, never. I was, you know. I was just, you know, looking out for me bruv, weren't I? He was being flattened, don't forget. By a man whose shop was being burgled, yes. And then, the man fled into the storeroom when you pointed your gun at him. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. He showed me away, and then ran off through that door and shot himself in. There's something about that last remark. Something that doesn't quite ring true.
I wonder why Mr. Windybank ran away into the storeroom.
What?
Well, according to what everyone is saying, Jeannie was in there waiting for him with a gun.
Oh, yes, that's right. Gina allegedly used Mr. Windybank's gun to threaten him and force him to open the storeroom door. In which case, how did the gun end up in Mr. Windybank's hands again?
I have no idea, but that is strange, isn't it?
This little inconsistency could be significant. I should take a mental note of it. Look, the point is, me and me brother...
That's right, Nash. Me and me bruv here. We never had nothing to do with killing him. That's what I put, I swear.
Hold it!
You said you had nothing to do with it. Nothing at all.
Nothing got nothing. The old geezer went and shot himself in the back room, did he?
Locked it was from the inside.
We know it was, cause we tried to open it.
But it's a decent door, that one. Good and strong. Wouldn't budge an inch. So in the end, the situation remained unchanged. Exclamation mark. Inside the storeroom with the pawnbroker, there was only one other person. The sole person who could possibly have shot the victim. The accused, Miss Gina Lestrade.
Arg! It would indeed appear so. What say you to that, Counsel?
Oh, I don't know. Was there anything else apart from Gina could possibly have shot Mr. Windybank? But there could have been. Mr. and Mr. Skulkin. What?
What's that look for?
From the moment you admitted that you encountered the victim face to face that night, the course of his trial changed completely. It did? What is your point, my learned friend? The question we must answer is who could have shot Mr. Windybank? And it is the belief of the defense that the defendant is not the only possible answer at all. You have my attention. In that case, let us return to this plan of the premises. The victim was killed in the storeroom, which was locked from the inside. Those are the facts, so pray, what other possible answer to the question who shot the man could there be?
Counsel, you must now provide answer to the court in respect of two conundrums.
Two, my lord. Twice as many chances to be right, maybe.
Indeed! Namely, from what location did the culprit shot the victim? And furthermore, where was the victim at the time?
Understood, my lord.
Are you alright right now?
I'm not entirely sure, but there's one thing I'm sure about. If I can prove that there's a credible new alternative to what happened, it would change Gina's prospect hugely. So now, time has come. Time for some clarity. I'm gonna save again. I have no idea how to do that. Show the court on this plan the answer to the question posed by his lordship. If you believe someone else could have killed the victim, indicate from where that person could have fired the gun.
I want to check the court record again to see if there are any proof that the guy could have been shot from someone else. They didn't find blood anywhere. But the lamp was broken. He was flattened on his back. Okay, I'm gonna try something. Over here at the counter.
Take that!
The defense believed that the culprit could have shot the victim from... Oh shit, no. Okay, no. This is where I needed to see where the culprit was. I think I made a mistake. And in answer to the second question, assuming the culprit fired from the location indicated, where was the victim at the time? Oh, I messed up. Okay, I'm gonna reload because because the two question was, where was the culprit and where was the victim? And I started with the victim first, and I should start with the culprit. Okay, so the culprit was on this side of the counter. So the culprit was on this side of the counter.
Take that!
And the victim was on this side of the counter.
Take that!
The defense believed that the victim could have been in the position here. Okay, so it's no good. What your answers in fact shows is that your own position is as absurd as those you are indicated on the plan. What are you saying?
What Lord Van Zandt is saying, Counsel, is that your answers are clearly flawed.
Okay, I'm gonna lose a life. Oh, I lose a life. Oh, I knew it. It's twice as many chances to be wrong.
So the questions are, from where did the culprit shoot the victim, and where was the victim at the time? Well, I don't see why we can't show that someone other than Ginny could have done in the storeroom, do you?
Why we can't show that someone other than Ginny could have done in the storeroom? Okay, so there's a double negative there. I need to understand the sentence. I don't see we can show that someone other than Gina could have done the storeroom. Yes, that's the right way of looking at it, I suppose. Someone other than Gina in the storeroom. What's the best move here? Should I try again or gather more information first? I'm gonna get more information first. My lord, I would like to consider the situation a little more before giving my answers again. Consider the situation as much as you like. The answers do not exist.
Very well. The court will hear from the witnesses again while you deliberate, Counsel.
Okay, so that's all these brothers are willing to reveal this time. Or is it?
They're still hiding something, don't you think?
Yes, I'm sure of it, and not just a minor detail either. It was almost certainly because of these two that poor Mr. Windybank, well...
You can't let them get away with it, Bruno!
Oh, I know, but I get the feeling that there's even less evidence at my disposal this time to prove that they did it.
We've come so far! Now it's time to finish him off!
Well, I'll do my best. Alright. We've got inside the gaff and he sighed of relief when the geezer showed his mug. Give me that gun, he bellowed, and then he flew at us like he was possessed. Oh, we had it. For no geezer, the look was strong as an ox. He chucked me over the counter. Okay, okay. I just need to, I'm not going to present anything. It's just I need to look at the evidence again. This is a tough one. Yeah, so if he said that he checked out over the counter there, that's where he knocked all those things on the counter, like the doll, the books, the skull, the candlesticks, the scales. Pulled me gun on him and he legged it through that door into the back room. Okay.
Hold it!
He shut himself in the back room. Oh, I need to check something again. Could he have shot through the peephole? No, there's no hole on the peephole. Like it's a trap door. I'm gonna try something else. Okay, I'm gonna try something. The victim was killed in the storeroom, which was locked from the inside. Those are the facts. What other possible answer to the question who shot the man could there be? Okay, I'm gonna try this.
Take that!
On the other side of the door, I think what they're saying is that, yeah. I think they were dumb enough, since the door was locked, they couldn't open it. Maybe they tried to fire on the lock to open the door, but they shot the guy on the other side. And it could have been only have been Ringo. Maybe for nearby. Okay, I'm gonna put Windy Bank here. Maybe he needs to be closer. Oh, no sound. The culprit shot the victim from outside the storeroom. Continue. Mr. Windybank died instantly from a bullet wound in his back. Looking at the stain of blood on the storeroom floor, it doesn't appear that the body was moved after death, which tells us that he was almost certainly shot while he was in the storeroom. However, the crucial point is, where was the shooter when the fatal bullet was fired? Oh, okay, so they're saying that since the way the body was posed, is that when he was standing up before he was shot, Windybank has the back against the door.
Because when he fell forward. Boom.
So you were adamant that the shot was fired from outside the storeroom?
Well, according to the Skulkin brothers' earlier testimony, I pulled me gun on him and then he leg it through that door into the back room. If Mr. Windybank ran away through the door, we have to assume that the door was open at the time. Oh, he opened the door and as he got in, they shot him. He died on the floor. The girl was still unconscious with the gun in her hand, and then they locked the door from the inside, making it look like their girl did it, and then got away, and then Sherlock intercepted them. They shot Sherlock, bullet in the calendar, then they ran off. Okay, that makes sense. It was precisely that moment when the victim was fleeing for his life that these brothers had the perfect opportunity to shoot the man in the back once he was inside the storeroom. Gah! Gah! Exclamation mark from Van Zeeks.
Come to think of it, do you remember what the prosecutor said at the start of the trial?
Moving on to the findings of Scotland Yard's coroner, his reports state that the bullet entered a body on a rising diagonal trajectory. It means the victim was likely shot by someone significantly shorter in height than himself.
Poor man, shot while he was running away as fast as he could to safety.
Of course! He would have been leaning forward as he was running away. Oh, okay. So the rising diagonal thing was like he was in an inclined position. So it's not the fact that Ringo shot him because he was small and he was standing straight. It was actually Nash who shot him from at equal height from Windybank, but Windybank's back was tilted forward because he was running. Aha! So even if the bullet was fired horizontally, it would still have entered his body on an upward trajectory.
So the culprit isn't necessarily someone shorter than Mr. Windybank.
Objection!
I'm sure my learned friend can't have forgotten that the storeroom door was found closed and locked from the inside. You claim the victim was shot as he fled into the room. Do you also claim his corpse was dexterous enough to turn the key in the lock? But what if someone else locked the door? Yes, there is someone else who would have locked the storeroom door. Is that so?
Very well then, counsel. Present your hypothesis to the court. In the scenario just described, the defense's assertion is that the victim was shot from outside the storeroom. In which case, who shot and locked the storeroom door from the inside?
That would be one of those two, Nash or Skulkin. So Skulkin is the bigger brother because he's 27, so they're like Mario and Luigi. Oh my god. Alright, so I'm gonna say Nash.
Take that!
Obviously, that person could have been...
Just a moment, Bruno.
What? I'm just about to point dramatically at the prosecution and unveiled an amazing revelation.
Sorry, but just before you do, maybe you should take a deep breath and think things through one more time. The storeroom was locked from the inside, so whoever locked it must have been inside too, don't you think?
Like Mr. Windybank, you mean?
Well, yes, except that he was dead. But there's someone else it could have been. Only one other person, really.
Oh, only one other? Oh, they're gonna say it's Gina, okay.
You're at a time, I'm afraid, for which you must be penalized.
Ah, there's a time limit?
Now then, let me pose the question again. In the scenario just described,
So it's Gina.
Take that!
Obviously, the person who locked the door was the only other person inside the storeroom at the time. The defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade.
Objection!
That's absurd! You're suggesting that the accused deliberately engineered a seal room? For what possible reason? Such action would only serve to tighten the noose around her neck.
I'm inclined to agree, I must say. Well, counsel?
Yes, that's a tricky one, that, isn't it? That wasn't even my idea to begin with. I got a penalty for saying something that made more sense, and now they're gonna explain, okay, do you know the reason why? I don't know.
Half-baked notions have no place in my courtroom, counsel. Remember that, please.
Yeah, he should be penalized for that too, even if it's the truth.
But of course, Ginny would have knocked the door. It almost goes without saying, doesn't it?
It does?
Well, if I was Ginny in that situation, I know I would have locked the door as quickly as I could. I mean, those two burglars has just fired a gun in her direction, hadn't they?
Oh yes, obviously. Before the two brothers arrived, Mr. Strahd and Mr. Windybank were in the storeroom together. Now, I don't know what went on between them at the time, but at some point, Mr. Windybank must have heard the intruders breaking into his shop and left the storeroom.
Intruders, eh? That's us, bruv.
If your theory is correct, that would leave the accused alone in the storeroom. Yes, it would. Then, probably only moments later, the victim fled back into the storeroom door, hoping to escape danger. And then bang! Hit in the back by the bullet, Mr. Windybank fell to the floor where he was just inside the storeroom. And what we have to ask ourselves now is, what would the defendant have done in that moment? I see what you're going with this. Outside the storeroom was a terrifying killer who had just murdered Mr. Windybank. As soon as that thought struck Mrs. Strahd, she slammed the door shut and locked it, in order to save her whole life.
Hold it!
Exclamation mark. But I ain't. We're the ones who done it.
We ain't, Gov, we ain't. You gotta believe us. I mean, come on. We'd never shoot no one.
Objection!
That's blatantly untrue. I know for a fact that you would. Okay, so, for a moment, I would agree with them, because their gun has only been shot once. And if their bullet is on the calendar, then a third party must have shot Windybank. The third brother, who happened to be not there. I'm guessing that is the con artist that who we met earlier that looked nothing like them. He must be the boss of the organization, like the gang leader. That's blatantly untrue. I know for a fact that you would, because before my own eyes, you shot Mr. Sherlock Holmes. Exclamation mark. There is only one logical conclusion here. Mr. and Mrs. Skullcake, you brothers have every opportunity to have been the true perpetrators of Mr. Windybank's murder.
No, gah!
Where does this leave us? You mean to say it wasn't the pickpocket who shot the pawnbroker after all?
I should have known it was those three brothers. They look as shady as a dense forest.
That was amazing, Luna! All the members of the jury seems to be firmly on your side now.
I know, first time ever, and probably the last.
Well, I think you've done it. Surely they have to give a verdict or not.
An admirable effort, my learned friend. What's this now? He's laughing?
You find the situation amusing, young Van Zieks. I myself find the defense argument more persuasive.
Taking a bottle of wine, pour himself a glass. I dare say. Such chicanery is the bread and butter of the street performers in your provincial Eastern nation. But such blatantly malicious conjuring tricks amount to nothing more than inexcusable pettifoggery here. What? Pettifoggery? Is that even a word? The hypothesis you put forward so ostensibly credibly cannot and will not stand. A toast! Because, you see, it contains a fatal flaw. So I drink to that. A fatal flaw? Do you mean to tell me that you're unaware of your logic's failing? No, I am. Skulking brother only shot once.
I say, Lord Van Zieks, might be an idea to explain this bally conjuring trick so whatever it is to troop on the grounds,
Oh, that's not even his voice, sorry. This is Lord Garadeb. Lord Garadeb has a voice like,
might be an idea to explain this bally conjuring trick so whatever it is for the troop on the ground,
The fatal flaw in question in my learned friend's argument is really very simple to understand, Foreman.
Throw his glass to the fire. Assuming you're not too dim-witted to count bullets.
By George, count bullets.
Oh dear. You noticed then?
Huh? What's everyone talking about?
Counsel!
Yes, sir. Tell the court, how many bullets were found at the scene of the crime?
2. 2 bullets.
Correct. The first, that which hit the victim in the back, ending his life. And the second, that which struck the detective, Mr. Sherlock Sholmes, on his arrival at the scene.
Indeed. The defense presented a picture showing the damage caused by the second bullet earlier in the proceedings. The bullet which injured Mr. Sholmes appeared to have passed through his body to strike the calendar.
Your lordship understanding is correct. Furthermore, we know there are 2 firearms involved in the incident. The revolver belonging to the victim, Mr. Windybank, and the Skulking Brothers' revolver. The evidence shows that a single bullet was fired from each gun.
Yes, indeed it does. A single bullet for each.
Now then, my learned friend. Exclamation mark. You yourself told the court only moments ago that these 2 brothers shot Mr. Sherlock Sholmes right before your eyes.
Yes, I did.
Oh my goodness. I think you'll find.
That if the single bullet was fired from the brother's gun hit Sholmes, it means...
Windybank not shot by same gun, stop. Only 1 bullet, stop. Exactly.
Yes, this Nipponese street performer presented an ostensibly credible argument. However, it was never anything more than a diversionary trick with no hope of standing up to scrutiny.
Rabble, rabble, rabble.
Hoda! Hoda! Hoda!
I'm done with this bottle. Pray forgive the discourtesy of flinging the dregs of this hallowed nectar into the public gallery.
Oh, my head!
I said, pray forgiveness.
Lord Van Zieks.
But this court needs to open its eyes. The accused, Miss Gina Lestrade, is no ordinary little girl. Despite her young years, she can regrettably no longer be described as a juvenile.
No, the person in the dock is far from a law-abiding citizen. She has a past riddled with criminal conduct. Exclamation mark from juror number 1 and 2. The truth is, the accused broke into the pawnbrokery on the night in question with loathsome intent. As we can see beyond doubt in this print, which depicts her threatening the victim with the murder weapon. 3, 4... And I have here in my possession one more piece of evidence the prosecution wishes to present, which is the music disc box with the blood print from Mr. Eggert. That disc!
I'll be taking that, whatever it is, from Mr. McGilda's crown to the yard. Thank you very much.
No, don't give it him! It's mine, that is, mine!
I'm sorry, miss, but anything belonging to Mr. McGilda is to be taken as evidence now.
Yes, that music box disc, McGilda's music box disc. The very day before the hateful murder of Mr. Windybank. The accused attempted to make off with this article, which clearly doesn't belong to her. And with none of the subtlety of a pickpocket, I might add, but by brute force and brazen impudence.
Good gracious!
Make no mistake. Any sympathy for the accused on account of her years is misguided and dangerous. There are no depths to which this girl would not stoop if pushed. No crime she would not commit. The court forget that fact at its peril. Number 5, number 6, exclamation mark.
I say. I think it would be prudent to take this music box disc into evidence, counsel, as a grim testament to the defendant's character.
Lord Van Zeeks,
Inspector Gregson, what? Yes, Inspector?
We had a meeting yesterday at the yard with the prosecution service, and, I think it was agreed that that disc wouldn't be used as evidence.
Van Zig, ... What's this all about? Why is the inspector acting strangely? That's the first time he said anything to Van Zeeks at all. I am unaware of any such meeting.
But those were the instructions right from the top. The government bigwigs were insistent.
Inspector, I am the prosecutor, and I alone determine how to present my case. Your warning is noted. Thank you. And ignore. The prosecution wishes to proceed with submitting this disc as evidence, my lord.
Indeed. Bailiff.
The music box disc has been entered into the court record. On the reverse side is a note that reads, for McGilded. The prosecution has established the accused's motive, opportunity, and baseness of character. There is nothing more to add. Bow. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I await your informed decision and rest my case. Oh, I don't believe it. I had the jury on my side for once, for all 5 minutes.
Oh dear. It wasn't even for 5 minutes, Runo.
My lord. I wonder if I might say something at this point.
Proceed, Mr. Foreman.
Been stumbling about in a bit of a fog up to now, if truth be told, but all of a sudden, the answer is baldly obvious to me and my men. There's only one thing for it. Okay, another, everybody gonna see guilty again? And we're gonna have another summation. Oh no.
Very well, the court will hear from the jury. Ladies and gentlemen, you will present your leanings as the defendant's culpability.
Guilty.
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 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Boom, 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 boom. The doctor does it with his head because he cannot use his hands. 6-0. I had them in my grasp. It was 2-4 for a minute, and then it's not again 6-0.
We have a consensus among the jury, it seems.
When you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth. Quoting a famous detective, air quotes. His name is not air quotes, it's Herlock.
Hey, that's my line! I wrote that! I wrote that for Hurley! Ah, how dare he use it against us!
But don't worry, Aris. I don't think we're finished yet. There's still some more to this case than we realize. There must be, because there's one thing that I'm absolutely certain of. Gina didn't shoot Mr. Windibank. That's beyond any doubt.
Very well. We will proceed with the second summation examination of the day. Mr. Foreman, are you and the other jurors ready?
Gary Deb's squadron is primed and ready for action, sir.
Very good. So, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will each explain on what grounds you have now determined the defendants to be guilty.
Judicial findings. The juror's contention, sorry. Once a rogue, always a rogue, I say. Different breeds to us law-abiding citizens.
As only 2 bullets were found at the scene, I would say the whole case is done and dusted.
Oh, you don't need a stereoscope to see the truth here. Every which way you look at it, it was that pickpocket.
I never imagined that simple operation would cause me such grief.
The accused attempted thief on the previous day. I can see it in for a busy... Okay, wait. I thought it was the machine, but it's actually her, but her lips doesn't move at all very much. So, the accused attempted the theft on the previous day. I can see I'm in for a busy day ahead.
I am ballistic expert. I have seen many shootings. There is nothing I do not know about guns.
Oh, I love what... I'm intrigued to what Mr. Six is going to say.
It would seem that there is a little remaining room for doubt.
I have to admit, I was rather bowled over by the argument put forwardly by the chap in black, but when that fell apart like a house of cards, I saw that I'd jolly well be hoodwinked.
Well, no more!
The whole courtroom is turning against me.
It's not fair!
Oris?
That prosecutor's being mean! Just because Jeannie's done some things he should have done in the past, that doesn't make her a murderer!
Allow me to savor this fruity vintage while I savor the spectacle in your fruitless debate on the matter.
A toast!
Here's to the truth coming out. Eventually. Are you gonna skate ...
That's enough preamble. Counsel, proceed with the summation examination.
Yes, my lord. Jury examination. The defense rebuttal. Once a rogue, always a rogue, I say. Different breeds of us law-abiding citizens.
Hold it!
Just because Mrs. Strahd has a history of pickpocketing, she must be guilty of murder. Is that what you're saying? Well... Are all members of the British Army so quick to judge?
I beg your pardon? Are you mocking Her Majesty's Armed Force? The greatest military organization in the world?
No, I'm simply illustrating my point. Exclamation mark.
Making assumption about people because they're a soldier or a pickpocket is wrong and dangerous. Well, yes. Might have a point there, I suppose. But let's not forget the girl has already shown she had it in her from before. She's clearly a clever old sort through and through, can't deny it. When you say that she's shown she had it in her, are you referring to this?
Exactly. Tried to swipe that only a day earlier, Or am I mistaken?
Not exactly. Given the owl was actually there at the time, it's hard to refute that.
I never actually seen the real thing. I can't wait to have a closer look at it.
Oh, speaking of which, maybe she'll say something different. Can we push? Or can we spray this evidence for, let's have a go.
Oh, Ritter, look! This is blood!
Yes, you're right, just a small smear, but definitely blood. Actually, I feel as though I might have noticed that before.
Aha! It's my time to shine again! I thought I'd be waiting forever! Alright, hold still with that disc right now, I'm gonna shoot it!
Can we get this done quickly, Oris?
In a flash! Poof!
Well, well, well.
A lovely bright shade again!
So here I was wrong. Okay, so there was somebody else at the scene of the crime, and we have proof. Because the blood just turned green. You know what that means. We assume it was Sherlock's. But we used a deduction, because when I checked the evidence with the blood test, it still said unknown. We still say it was Sherlock because it would only have made sense. But here we have the disc, and it's the same hue of green as the blood on the calendar. So this we know for a fact that this is Eggard's blood, because he pricked himself in it when Gina tried to snatch it from his hands. So he drew blood. And since it's the same blood, that means that the bullet, Gina shot Eggard with the gun. So the gun on the calendar is not from the Skulkins, it's from Gina's. So this is where the contradiction is. So we can prove that the third guy, and he would all right. Wait, that color.
What is it?
It's just that green. It's not the first time we've seen that color, isn't it? The blood sample portfolio has been updated in the court record. And the rest is for Mr. Gilden. I don't want her opinion. But yeah, just because we had Iris here, now we can analyze the blood. Oh yes, of course. Mr. Sholmes did use his caramel bars to make a copy of the disc, did he? And then order every type of music box he could find from across Europe. We still don't know what tune it plays though, do we?
But I'd like to see how the original compares to Hurley's copy.
McGilded disc. Could it be a clue somehow? Perhaps we should examine it in more detail.
As only 2 bullets were found at the scene, I would say the whole case is done and dusted.
Hold it! It's the number of bullets, as you convince.
Only 2 bullets were fired, and the 2 guns that fired them has been examined by the police. When the parlor maid asked me how many are invited for dinner, I always tell her to count the table settings.
Well, that's logical, I suppose.
Although,
yes,
sometimes after dining, crockery does go missing. 1 or 2 guests is rather like fine china.
Does your employer dine with thieves?
So I suppose. If there was another bullet somewhere of which we were unaware, I'd have to reconsider my position.
A third bullet somewhere on the scene? Could that be possible? I can prove it! Allow me to show you then the third bullet. Oh shit, I'm not ready. The bullet, no, because if I present the music box discs, it doesn't make any sense. So the third bullet would be from the blood samples portfolio. We don't have the third bullet. Can I cancel? Oh no. I made a boo-boo. Okay, I'm gonna try this.
Take that!
I don't suppose this would pass as the third bullet, eh? It passes for a bullet as much as you pass for a lawyer, my learned friend. Coming from you, I'm going to take that as a meaning not much. In no way does it resemble a bullet, if that helps your understanding on my last remark.
Counsel, at the very least, I would expect the evidence you present to be of the correct form.
Oh, it's been a long day.
Let's actually try to find the third bullet before we attempt that again, you know?
Yes.
You don't need a stereoscope to see the truth here. In every which way you look at it, it was that pickpocket.
Hold it!
So if I've understood correctly, you need two pictures. A left eye and a slightly different right eye one.
Exactly! Then you can see the scene in 3 dimensions, like this. Cross-eye.
So if we have two bullets, I don't suppose you can see anything useful with them.
I think you'll find that no matter how much you squint, the truth of the situation always looks the same here. Cross-eye! The only person who has shot the victim is that girl in the dark.
How can you be so sure of that?
Think about it. The Skulking Brothers shot the great detective, didn't they?
Yes, that's been mentioned once or twice.
Well then, surely it's coming into focus now, is it?
Oh, you know what? The third bullet is still in Sherlock's body.
Surely it's coming into focus now, isn't it?
This is a waste of time. I'm not going to change this man's mind anytime soon. Alright, number 4.
I never imagined that simple operation would cause me such grief.
Hold it!
Would you please stop muttering about things that have nothing to do with this trial, sir? Oh no, it does. It 100% does. The defendant's life is on the line here.
Well, the thing is, I couldn't really say that it was nothing to do with this trial, to be honest.
Huh?
I mean, there's no question that the man was shot, but the bullet has simply vanished from his stomach. It's quite inexplicable, don't you think?
I almost don't want to ask, but this surgery you've been muttering about all this time, you were operating on...
What was the fellow's name now? Herlich? No. Herlock? Herlock, with an H. Herlock.
Herlock Sholmes, by any chance?
Yes, good lord! It was that Herlock fellow!
What? You're the surgeon that operated on Mr. Sholmes?
That's right! Using the very last anesthesia techniques, I might add. It was a fairly major op, I can tell you.
This is crazy!
Let me see, the fellow was brought in long after midnight, if I remember correctly. They say he'd been shot by some criminal or another, so I put it up like a shot. But the funny thing is, I went over his inside with a fine-tooth comb and couldn't find the bullet anywhere. So I'm afraid I have to throw up my hands and just stitch the fellow back up.
I hate to state the obvious, but
Yes.
Surely that's because the bullet is still at the scene of the shooting.
The counsel for the defense is correct. As is clearly shown in this photographic print, the bullet that the Skulking brothers fired at Mr. Sholmes hit him in the stomach region.
Oh, wait. The bullet that the Skulking brothers fired at Mr. Sholmes hit him in the stomach region, then exited his body and lodged into the shop wall where the calendar was hanging by the door. I think you'll find this is really quite simple if you try to consider the problem three-dimensionally.
Ah! Who do you think I am, son?
Well, juror number 4 is about the best I can do.
As soon as I saw the wound on the man's stomach, I flipped him over.
Like a pancake? Are you saying that you checked his back?
Of course I did, but there wasn't a trace of injury. No sign that the bullet has left the body at all.
What?
That's the point. The only logical conclusion was that the bullet was still somewhere in the man's innards, which is exactly why I set about slicing him up. And still none the wiser even now. How many times do I have to say it? Can somebody please explain how it happened? Can somebody please solve the mystery?
It's almost as much of a mystery as how this jury was put together.
The mystery of where that bullet ended up is infuriating. Where's an expert when you need one?
Okay, so I want to try pit him with juror number 2.
Objection!
No, not quite. Those two statements clearly contradict each other. Hold it. Sorry, old bean. I can't accept that as squadron leader. What? All fighting for a common cause, don't you know, my chaps? There's no way to contradict one another.
I concur, Mr. Foreman. You will refrain from personal attacks on the jury based solely on your frustration, counsel.
Yeah. The really frustrating thing is, I don't identify a genuine discrepancy here.
There are a lot of questionable characters in the Garrideb Squadron. You might have to listen to what they have to say a few times before it starts to make sense.
Yes, and press them on anything that sounds suspicious. That's the way forward here. But still, should we really be labeling members of the jury as questionable? I want to check my autosave. Did it save before I started this jury thingy? Let's check the timestamp. Yeah, so this autosave is the latest one. So where did the autosave? Oh, just after I talked with the surgeon. So I have 1 life. I gain 1 life by doing that. So I'm gonna press him again. Okay, so I saved my last move. Okay. Mr. Sholmes' surgeon is on the jury. I've experienced some coincidence recently, but this is ridiculous.
I'm as surprised as anyone.
But then there's no question that Mr. Sholmes was shot.
Well, that's what the police told me when they brought him in.
How bad were his injuries, Doctor?
Oh, it was in a bad way. He lost a huge amount of blood, you know. I suspect he was shot at quite close range, too, because his skin was badly burnt around the point of entry.
Burnt?
As I said, I flipped the fellow over and examined his back, but there was no sign of an exit wound, which is why I thought I'd better locate the log and pop it out.
And yet you said you found no bullet inside the patient.
Well, I wouldn't have done, would I? Because it's in the wall of the pawnbrokers. But how did it get there? I need someone to solve this mystery before it drives me to insanity. If only there were some expert ballistic who could help, even if you look extremely untrustworthy.
That would be Villain. So we're gonna have to tie him up with Villain, since he's a ballistic expert. So the juror is gonna help us solve the case by their expertise. That never happens in real life. Never in a million years. So we have a disappearing bullet on our hands.
Alright, let's go straight to number 6. Number 5 seems to be having little prejudices. So let's go with Mr. Ballistic Expert, Mr. Bolshevik.
Oh, I thought you were just a tourist.
Dot dot dot. Book. Which word? Which word? Good day. I am visiting London for sightseeing. I would like to take bus to Crystal Tower, please.
There's no way he's just a visiting tourist. So, you're a ballistic expert. Who knew?
I have much experience with guns.
Ah,
I have lived through many, how do you say, extreme, violent, a bat of, blood of,
Ah! Extreme violent blood!
considering the sort of people you associate with, I'm surprised you still have a tongue.
Anyway, if you have questions about bullets and guns, you ask me. There is nothing I do not know, no mystery I do not solve.
He's very confident in his knowledge of guns, that's for sure.
But if possible, please, only in the Russian language.
He's not very confident in his knowledge of English, though, is he?
No, still, we should bear it in mind. He's our man if there's a mystery about guns or bullets. So we're gonna pit him, even though they don't contradict each other. I'm gonna pit 4 and 6 so they have a conversation with each other. Van Seeks has managed to convince everyone.
But you have eliminated the impossible, he said. But he hasn't!
If we're going to fight back, we need more material. And we have to fight back. We have to turn this trial around again. Alright, so now we're back at number 1. 3, 4, pit. Number 6.
Objection!
There. Those two statements clearly contradict the idea that all I do is pit jurors against each other.
Oh, a ballistic expert! Pitting. P-I-T-T.
On the night in question, Mr. Sholmes was shot by one of the Skulkin brothers. But since there was no sign of an exit wound on his back, we must assume the bullet didn't pass through him. However, no bullet was found lodged in Mr. Sholmes' body either. Furthermore, a bullet was found lodged in the wall of the shop where Mr. Sholmes was shot. Juror number 6.
Hello, my name is Villain. Pleased to meet you.
This apparent contradiction in the fact that is so clearly troubling juror number 4. Are you able to explain the mystery? Juror number 6. ...
I have seen very simulation. I have seen very similar situation in Mataland.
Exclamation mark.
It was night. There was blizzard. It was running away along mountain road in freezing cold. Golly! The snow was piling high on both sides of the road. It was very narrow and dangerous. My pursuers had hunting rifles as they were on dog sleds.
Mental note, don't ask too many questions.
I was shot from behind and I fell down in snow. And this situation was very similar to what I hear today from doctor. They could not find bullet in my body. And no sign of, how do you say, exit wound.
Then where did the bullet go?
Bullet never hit me.
Well, if it never hit you, why?
Bullet hit frozen wall of ice very close to my side.
What?
One small piece, very sharp, broke away from lump of ice and pierced my body.
So there was a wall of ice, the bullet broke, and a shard hit him?
It made deep wound that looked just like bullet wound.
Good gracious!
Of course, piece of ice quickly melted inside of me. Okay, the bullet was made out of ice. So yeah, that was my idea as well. Like, if the bullet wound was not found, there was a bullet wound, and if the bullet was not found inside the body, my first thought was, just like in one of Sherlock Holmes's mystery, the stabbing was made by some ice. Like, he noticed that the water was diluted, and when they checked the blood, the puddle of blood on the floor, they noticed that the blood puddle was watered down because he was shot by a shard of ice. So it looked like a bullet wound, but then ice melt. So there was no because there was, I think it was in one of the Sherlock Holmes's mystery, there was some guy who was stabbed. They never found the murder weapon, but he was clearly stabbed. But actually what happened is that somebody made a knife out of ice and sharpened it so it would be like a blade. So he got stabbed by an ice sword. The blade was left there, but then it melted and got mixed in with the blood.
That is solution to mystery of disappearing bullet.
And another follow bot. Shit, I don't know if you're here. I need a follow bot to erase. Oh, she's gone. Okay, I'll take care of it. Oh, missing a letter. Okay.
Da.
But that doesn't answer the question at all!
Hmm?
The shooting happened in the pawnbroker shop, not some snowy mountain road in another country.
Just an idea, but we might not be looking at exactly the same scenario here.
Runo! Where exactly was Hurley shot again?
Well, according to the report, in his stomach, sort of around this area, I think.
Well, that's precisely where he always wear a little pouch on his belt.
A pouch? Actually, I might have noticed something like that.
Yes, a pouch! It's where he keeps 3 glass vials of every dangerous chemical that he used in his investigation.
Oh yeah. He used 3. There's this pouch. He always carries 3 vials, 3 vials of chemicals, and use these vials to plug in onto the machine inside of his satchel. And when he used the pump and plugged the tube to his gun, that's how he used his steampunk luminol spray. What? Really? Doctor, where is the pouch Mr. Sholmes was wearing?
Well, the fellow had nothing like that on his person when you arrive at the hospital, as far as I remember.
If I may. Lord Van Zieks, while I realize it is forbidden for the prosecution to interject during a summation examination, I should inform the defense that I have the pouch in question in the antechamber outside the courtroom. Sorry? Sniffing the blood from sniffing the wine from his chalice. As I understand it, when the police arrived on the scene and found Mr. Sholmes injured, they removed the pouch in order to assess the wound.
Oh, thank goodness. I thought I was getting forgetful for a moment.
Since then, it had been in my safekeeping along with all other evidence relating to the case. I can personally vouch for the fact that it has not been touched since the incident occurred.
Very well, while extremely unconventional during summation examination, I must demand the prosecution presents the item in question with all speed.
Bring forth Mr. Sherlock Sholmes' pouch.
I see.
Yep. The cyan bottle has been broken.
So this is the pouch worn by Mr. Sholmes on the night in question, is it?
Look at that! One of the files is broken and the letter around is scorched black. Okay, so we need to examine it post haste. I think what happened is because it was at close range, Sherlock got the bullet didn't hit the body, he hit the files, but what Sherlock received was the wound from the broken glass and not the bullet, plus scorching from the gunpowder burns. One of the file's broken letters was scorched black. It's almost as if the file exploded.
Exploded?
So that night, the bullet from the skulking brother's gun struck Mr. Sholmes' pouch.
And it was the glass file exploding that caused the fellow's injury.
This bullet did not penetrate victim, but was deflected into wall of shop.
Oh. But the blood. But the blood, though. We know it's not Sherlock's blood. Because we just found out it was Eggers. So, the gun hit the vial, deflected into the calendar. But the vial had volatile chemicals. It exploded, scorched the pouch, and one of the shards of the the vial penetrated Sherlock's stomach like a bullet would. And now Van Zeke is sniffing his cup of wine. A delightfully complex aroma.
Well, it would appear one mystery had been solved at least.
Though it had no bearing on the truth of this case. Exclamation mark. The bungling and burgling brother shot the detective and the accused shot the pawnbroker. The pertinent facts of the case remain unaltered.
But at least the mystery is solved. I can sleep easy tonight. Thank you, young man.
Da, thank you very much. I'm glad I could help.
Due to its bearing on the conundrum just solved, the court will sequester this scruffy pouch as evidence.
Hurley's pouch isn't scruffy!
Sholmes' pouch has been entered into the court record. We're gonna examine it still.
Now the summation examination.
Will not resume because I need to examine this little pouch thingy.
These glass vials are full of Hurley's homemade potions.
Homemade?
Yes, like fingerprints powder to show up where people have touched things, and scent amplifying low solution to intensify a smell lingering on an object.
That's amazing.
They're all very easy to use. It's just one thing that you have to be careful of. They're all very flammable.
Mr. Sholmes is a walking bomb. Either he's passionate about finding out the truth or just oblivious to the danger. Okay, so let's check the... This file has been smashed to pieces. Presumably this is where the bullet struck.
As soon as the bullet hit the chemical in that file, there would have been a really big explosion.
A big explosion?
Well, Hurley's potion and chemicals are amazingly useful for the investigation work he does. But they're also quite tricky to handle, safely at least. They're very dangerous.
Oh,
I'm sure that's when this file broke. The chemical inside would have ignited.
note to self, always walk on the right-hand side of Sholmes in future. The left is the
Danger zone!
Oh, wait, there's a little bump in the back. Oh, look, there's a hole here at the back. It doesn't look much like a bullet hole, but clearly something ripped through this leather with great force.
Something must have pierced it somehow to have left this hole behind.
Yes, that looks that way. Mr. Shulman and his pouch both took a beating, didn't they? Oh, you can clearly see... Okay, you cannot... You can see the bump. I tried to interact with the bump, and it doesn't work. Yes, you can see... You can see the end of the bullet here. The bullet is still there, but they're not letting us remove it. Here, if I move correctly, this is the trajectory. I can see the butt of the gun right there. I'm gonna press the hole. There you go. It's really scorched badly just here.
Oh, the strip is broken, look!
This must be where the bullet hit then.
Let me see.
Yeah, I can access the bullet better. There you go. What the... Iris, look! Behind where the broken file was. Do you see it?
Ah, that's... the Skulking Brothers bullet!
What stroke of luck that it hit this pouch. This is an amazing discovery. What this means is... there were 3 bullets fired at Windybanks that night.
We found exactly what the jurors was talking about. The 3rd bullet!
It's time to press the juror again, I think. The 3rd bullet. A projectile was discovered lodged in Mr. Sholmes' pouch. It caused one of the files to explode, injuring Mr. Sholmes. Okay, so this is what I was looking for. Oh wait, I can even examine the 3rd bullet. This is the bullet that was fired from the Skulkin brothers' gun on the night of the incident.
Yeah, so it turns out it never actually entered Early's body at all.
Thanks to the thick leather of that pouch he was wearing, it saved him.
Early is always lucky like that.
Well, considering that he had to go through in the hospital, I wonder how lucky he really was.
Oh dear, poor Hurley.
Is this the same thing all around? Yeah, same thing all around. There's nothing to examine, just something to show. Alright, so...
Now the submission examination! It would appear the defense is somewhat struggling to alter opinion,
Please, my lord, a little more time. After all, that's a new piece of evidence. It could be a valuable clue, and you can't afford to overlook anything here, Rinosuke. There is still a way to turn this around somehow, I'm sure of it. Okay, so I'm gonna talk with juror number 2.
Hold it!
I can prove it. Allow me to show you then the 3rd bullet. We discovered it just now. Yes, on the night in question in Windybank's pawnbrokery, another bullet was fired.
Hold it!
Oh. Fancy can say hold it. What is this new trickery, you Nipponese conjurer? Where did you find that bullet? It was lodged inside Mr. Sholmes' pouch. What?
This pouch was removed from around Mr. Sholmes' waist before it was taken to hospital, and since then has been touched by no one.
Do you mean to say the shot fired by the Skulkin brothers that night?
Yes, as your lordship has surmised, it hit this pouch.
But that makes no sense whatsoever! We already know the whereabouts of the bullet fired at Mr. Sholmes. It's clearly visible in this photographic print.
Ah! 2 guns from the scene that already been submitted into the court records as evidence.
Yes, that of Mr. Windybank, that belonging to the Skulkin brothers.
An examination of both guns revealed that only a single bullet has been fired from each.
Ah!
But that must mean...
That's right. We now know that on the night in question, 3 bullets was fired. However, only 2 bullets were fired from the guns recovered from the crime scene. And until that incontrovertible inconsistency is somehow explained, we cannot and must not pass judgment. My heart! Oh my god. Van Zink is having a heart attack. He's clenching his brooch. His medal.
Order! 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 While the summation examination remains incomplete, the court has been presented with new facts. Facts that would appear to shake the very foundation upon which the case against the defendant has been built.
Fancy ... exclamation mark.
As it is my prerogative in this situation, I hereby temporarily suspend the summation examination.
By Jupiter! What?
Bailiff, bring the witnesses back to the stand at once.
Ah, rah, 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 rah. I don't know why Gregson is still there.
Witnesses,
Governor!
were you listening to proceedings while the defense carried out the summation examination?
We was, Governor, we was.
Perhaps we can dispense with the tedious preamble. Simply answer one question. A 3rd bullet has been identified at the scene of the crime. What do you make of that? Make of it, Gov? I don't make nothing. Is this one of yours?
Gor blimey, Gov, gor blimey, not a chance.
In that case, did you have an accomplice? Oh, what? I don't make nothing that can help it. Well, I mean, the Skulkin brothers work alone.
It's just the 2 of us, that's our trademark.
How soon we forget poor Sulky? Only 2 of the bullets from the crime scene originated from the firearms we have in evidence. The 3rd bullet was fired from another gun. Where is it? Let me, that's a head scratcher.
Counsel for the defense?
Yes.
I should like to hear your thoughts regarding these new developments. The 3rd bullet, and the mysterious missing firearm from whence it came.
Thinking back over all the testimony we heard and all the evidence we've seen, I think I'm starting to form a picture of what really happened that night. My lord, I think it's clear that this 3rd bullet tells us about the Skulkin brothers. They had a secret accomplice. They had nothing to do with them or they had another gun. No. On that night at Windybank's pawnbrokery, the brothers must have been working with a 3rd man. The witnesses are clearly doing their best to cover up the existence of this accomplice. But the evidence all points to the fact that there was someone else present. Someone carrying a gun.
Objection!
Pouring a glass of wine in my chalice again. An accomplice, you say? Pig's will! Exclamation mark. These protracted proceedings already focus us to endure 2 summation examinations. Yet in all that time there had been not a murmur of a third man, if this apparently wraith-like being exists. Crushing the glass. The court must be shown hard evidence. Without it, this fantasy will be crushed. Arg! The prosecution demands answers on 2 counts. Firstly, proof, evidence that his accomplice was ever at the scene of the crime. And secondly, the identity of this spurious character. The skulkings are lying, I know that. But how can I ascertain the identity of the person they're hiding?
Well, counsel.
Okay, it's gonna be difficult to present the correct evidence because the disc, the music box disc, and the blood on the calendar, which is not a real piece of evidence, is actually a picture that is in the blood file. So it's gonna have to be the disc. So we're gonna save here, or it's gonna it's gonna autosave. It's gonna autosave. I'm supposed to prove the existence of this accomplice and reveal the person's identity even. In response to the prosecution demands, my lord, the defense is okay, let's try it. Let's try it. I'm gonna have the autosave. Ready to present evidence, sirs. The defense is ready. I believe I can provide all the answer the prosecution demands. So, my Nipponese friend, despite the swimming eyes, you seem to think you have something to say. This promises to be interesting. I have to push forward now. There's no other option. I need to use every single piece of evidence available to me if it will make a difference.
In that case, counsel, I will ask you to present the evidence without delay. On the night in question, in the moments leading up to the death of the victim, what proof have you that there was a third intruder present at the scene?
I'm gonna present the music box disc.
Take that!
The evidence is this.
You perplex me, counsel, by looking so pleased with yourself, despite this quite displeasing answer.
My learned friend has a knack for it, my lord. It seems presenting nothing as though it was something is a favorite trick of the Nipponese conjurer.
Well, I think it takes a certain genius to give such a completely wrong answer, personally.
The kind of genius I could really do without time to think again.
In that case, counsel,
As presented, yeah, this is a delay. Night in question. What proof you had? This is a third. Blood samples portfolio.
Take that!
The evidence is right here in this portfolio.
by Jove, that portfolio again, is it?
Do you expect the court to rifle through your papers itself? Be more specific. You claim one of those blood samples proved the presence of this third intruder. Well, which one is it? This one, the first one.
Take that!
What am I looking at here? There appears to be some green paint or such light around the bullet hole in the middle of the calendar.
That's a blood stain, my lord.
A blood stain?
Green blood. Curious, even for you. Is the court to understand that the intruder was some inhuman creature? It's something developed by Mr. Hillock Sholmes.
By the great detective!
New invention, stop. Not yet appear in story, stop.
It's this, you see. It doesn't have a name yet, though. This bugger sprays a chemical that reacts with the different elements in people's blood to change its color.
different elements of people's blood?
Yes, everyone's blood is slightly different, you see, because it's made out of different elements. So by seeing what color it changed into, you can tell in the flash whose blood it is.
Oh, that brings a whole extra dimension to looking at blood.
Talk of blood in courtroom. Stop. Very exciting. Stop. As an example, this one shows the blood of the victim, Mr. Windybank.
Ah, striking blue!
Yes, so you see the green color in this blood stain on the calendar shows that somebody else was shot in the main part of the shop.
Oh, now hold fire there, young man. Could be from some unrelated incident, couldn't it?
No, it's not unrelated. Exclamation mark. The date showing on the calendar is the date on which Mr. Windybank was killed.
By golly!
Therefore, we can assume that whoever was shot on the same day.
Then whose blood is it?
Well, the Skulking brothers in the stand don't appear to be suffering from any gunshot injuries, which means it must be the blood of somebody else, the third intruder, in fact.
Objection!
Whose identity the court is still waiting to hear. You can't delay this any longer, my learned friend. Who is this alleged third intruder? It's gonna be Eggert Benedict.
Take that!
The man's name is Eggert Benedict.
Eggert Benedict! Who on earth are you talking about, Counsel?
He paid a visit to Windybank's pawnbrokery on the afternoon before the incident took place, when the accused attempted to deceive the pawnbroker into releasing this article into her possession. That's right! Exclamation mark. The man identified by the defense, Mr. Eggert Benedict, then attempted to take the article from the defendant by force. Broker.
Yes, sir?
I believe this filthy pocket thief has just redeemed an article from you, no?
Yes.
The article in question belongs to me. I demand for it to be returned at once. No, that's a lie! What are you trying to pull? Give me back my overcoat, you wastrel. And needless to say, JoJo pose, any music box disc too. Inspector Gregson was there at the time and can attest to what happened. In the end, it was the inspector himself who took the disc.
Can you corroborate this account, Inspector?
Yes, my lord. That's more or less what happened. And in the interest of being thorough, I asked Windybank for a print showing the fellow.
Oh, 11 a.m.
Taken from one of his red-hand recorder, Gubbinses.
So at 11 sharp, he was there. Trying to see... No. Everything else seems to be in order. Yes! That's him talking to Mr. Windybanks that morning.
And you claim this man is the brother's accomplice?
Well, Mr. and Mr. Skulkin, Nash,
Oh, I've never seen the geezer before in my life.
On me life, God! On me life! Never seen him!
Well, somewhat unsurprisingly, it appears our witness disagree with your assertion.
I'm sure your lordship recalls my learned Nipponese friend's actual assertion, which was that he could prove the identity of the alleged accomplice. Yes, and I can.
Then show us the evidence.
I agree. You must see proof that the clean-cut gentleman in the photograph is the filthy criminal you see he is.
This is the last piece of the evidence. I've had a feeling that something has been missing in this trial from the very start. But now I'm going to drag it kicking and screaming into the courtroom.
Are you ready to present your answer to the court then, counsel?
Yes, my lord. The defense will present the evidence now. proof that the man pictured in this photographic print was in fact the person struck by the third bullet. The music box disc. As I mentioned before, on the afternoon of the day in question, the defendants attempted, deceitfully, admittedly, to reclaim this disc from Windybanks.
Which is when the aforementioned Egbert Benedict appeared on the scene, I believe. This man then attempted to purloin the article from the defendant's possession, no?
That's correct, my lord. I myself was present at the time. It was following this that a minor incident occurred.
But of course, sir, here is the disc for you.
Benedict, ... Very well. Then I shall bid you farewell. Say goodbye to style. Now I can see the... when he moved, I noticed the patch, like the seams of the overcoat on the sorry. I can see the seams sticking out of on the right shoulder of his overcoat very well. So it's like it's clearly not him. And if he's as dandy as he claims to be from his first look, he wouldn't be caught dead in this overcoat. Say goodbye to style. Wait a minute, that disc is mine! Oh, what do you think you're doing, you little tramp? You've drawn blood, you filthy animal! Being a music box disc, it has countless small but sharp metal protrusions over its surface. Those protrusions cause Mr. Benedict's finger to bleed, and the resulting smear of blood is still visible on the disc now.
Goodness, a bloodstain, is it?
My assistant and I just analyzed the bloodstain here in this very courtroom.
Using my trusty fogger gun!
Yes, and we added the result to this portfolio. I say, it's green. It's exactly the same color as the blood around the calendar. Stop. The evidence is conclusive. The man calling himself Mr. Egbert Benedict, who was at Windybanks earlier in the day, is the accomplice who was present at the scene of the crime that same night. So there was someone else there. Look at those two brothers now. They're sweating buckets. Oi, what are you talking about? He's boiling in here. My lord, it is the opinion of the defense that Mr. Egbert Benedict should be summoned to the courtroom to testify.
It would certainly seem that we can ill afford to ignore this gentleman's apparent presence.
Objection!
This has gone on long enough now. This flagrant ignorance of the mechanics of law! Exclamation mark. Sherlock Sholmes, you say? Yes, I heard the name. The protagonist in a series of short stories for the vulgar classes. A god of detection of some such. Iris question mark, exclamation mark. And now you employ chemical substances devised by this fantastical persona in the highest course in the land? Do you expect us to take you seriously? The samples made by this plating are not fit to be called evidence! So the bloodstain turned a shade of green. What of it? Here's to your successfully proving that no other blood in the world would turn the same color. Well... Heels on the bench. And pray do not even think of suggesting that we should take Mr. Sholmes' word for it. Is he right? Is Mr. Sholmes' concoction a load of rubbish? Oh, I don't know. I mean, he's a great detective. What are you talking about? We can't let him get away with that. Real scared of that. Oh, I knew it would come to this. Of course, Mr. Sholmes' invention isn't going to be recognized by any official body. But what other choice did I have?
I'm just remembering what Father Christmas over there said before. about how he was temporarily suspending the summation examination.
Ah,
In other words, the examination isn't over yet, is it?
Good grief! What did you just say, young girl?
And in the summation examination, the decision as to whether or not the trial continues is in the hands of the 6 jurors, isn't it?
exclamation mark Van Zeke.
So the way I see it, it doesn't matter what certain other people think of Hurley's inventions. At least, not for now.
Yes, she's right.
Young lady, you have quite a devious mind.
It really just comes down to one thing. Whether these ladies and gentlemen of the jury are convinced by what you say, Bruno. Is that about right, would you say, or did I misunderstand something?
Unbelievable. Mr. Sholmes' partner is a force to be reckoned with.
Iris Wilson, sharpshooter! Bang, bang, bang!
After the truth precise of the situation from an entirely unexpected source, it must be acknowledged that the previous summation examination has yet to reach its conclusion.
This is absurd!
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the court now looks to you for your final leanings in this matter.
Exclamation mark from 1 and 2.
As proud citizens of Her Majesty's Britain, I'm sure you will come to fair and just conclusion.
3 and 4.
So then, state your final decision in turn, please.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty. Guilty.
Guilty.
Not guilty.
Oh! 4 to 2. Boom, 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 boom.
Two call guilty, and 4 call not guilty. Such is the outcome of the summation examination.
Objection!
My lord, with all due respect, this is an outrage. The prosecution refuses to accept this decision.
On what grounds?
If these jurors are persuaded by some half-baked concoction devised by a pretender to real police work, then they are too ignorant to be trusted with the judgment of anyone's guilt.
I'm sorry, Lord Van Zeeks, but the upcorn of the summation examination cannot be ignored. This trial will continue.
Oh! Oh! My heart. Rubble, rubble.
Nevertheless, we find ourselves in a rather awkward situation. The defense have very reasonably requested the subpoena of a new witness. But sadly, it fears that this will be impossible.
What?
The name the gentleman gave for himself, Egbert Benedict, is quite clearly false.
Of course it's a false name. His initial is AR. I don't believe it. Just when I managed to prove the man was there that night. Could I say something?
Huh? Who was that, please? Who spoke?
Juror number 5. It was me, my lord.
Juror number 5.
What have you to say, madam?
If possible, Inspector,
Me, madam?
I wonder if you might show the photographic print to me again. The one in which the gentleman is shown.
Right, yes, this one you mean? Or Mr. Benedict?
Juror number 5, ... Yes. There's no doubt in my mind.
Juror number 5, you don't mean to say you know this man?
Yes, I know him.
What? No!
Good gracious! Order! 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 Juror number 5, how on earth?
I am a communication officer. Stop. As we can clearly say, the gentleman in the photograph is stop. also a communication officer. Stop. He works in my office. Stop. A very talented operator, in fact. Stop. He should be in the communication station now. Stop. Tapping away on the telegraph. Stop. This doesn't seem right now, somehow. I can't put my finger on why, but it doesn't feel right.
I suppose...
Sorry?
I suppose we all imagined the accomplice would be some sort of hardened criminal. It's a bit unexpected to find out that he has a respectable job by day. Whenever he gets up...
Sorry, hiccups. I'm gonna take a sip of water to settle everything down. I don't know why.
It's a bit unexpected to find out that he has a respectable job by day, whatever he gets up to at night.
Yes, I suppose that's it. I suppose that's why I felt something was wrong.
If the gentleman is at London's communication station, we should be able to subpoena him within the hour. Lord Van Zig, if you please.
Yes, my lord.
Make the necessary arrangement with all haste.
As your lordship bids.
The court will recess for 1 hour. When the new witness arrives, we shall reconvene to hear the gentleman's testimony. Inspector Gregson.
Yes, my lord.
I should like to hear from you specifically about events at the pawnbrokery on the day in question. Come to my chambers during the recess.
Yes, sir, my lord.
Very well. Court is adjourned until 1:40 p.m.
It's time for lunch. To be continued. This is
Exciting! This is exciting!
Now are we gonna unearth McGilden's true crime? Care to save your current progress? Yes, I would love to save my progress. And I liked a bit of the acting when the prosecutor was outraged. This is clearly, for that scene, the reason why I chose this this voice, because it was perfect. "17th of April, 12:41 p.m. The Old Bailey, defendant's antechamber. Ah, Gina, how are you holding up? Dot dot dot. I'm starting to feel quite warmly towards her freaking cold shoulders now.
Jeannie! Are you alright? Why aren't you saying anything?
Gina dot dot dot. What's the point, eh? Why go all to all this trouble and fight so hard for the likes of me?
What?
Well, you saw it, that picture. What picture?
Ah, you mean this? The photograph taken by Hurley's red-headed recorder? Well, I don't think it would have captured a scene like this, that's for sure.
It's hopeless. Anyone who sees that's gonna think I did it, ain't they? Well, I won't pretend it wasn't a bit of a shock when the prosecution first presented it to the court. Surely you're gonna have your doubts about me now. You can't think still I'm innocent. Of course I can.
Jeannie, why don't you talk to us? Tell us what really happened that night.
Eh?
Bruno's cleverly managed to piece together a lot of new information, but still, we'd really like to hear it from you.
Gina, dot dot dot. Alright then. It was after we had that dinner together at your place, right, Iris? Then we all had a chat up in your office, didn't we? Yes, I remember. After that, I just couldn't get to sleep. So I slip out and went to the street to the 201 to Windybank's place. I had to know. If Iris' story was
There or not, the Hound of the Baskervilles? I don't know what this is about or nothing, but if you ask me, there's something in that chums don't like. Something what we don't want people reading. So that's why he lied to Iris about sticking in lug with Windibank for safekeeping. At last, that's what I thought at the time. So you broke into Windibank's. I just had to know if it was here or not. I mean, I had no idea of all of what was going to kick off, did I? I struck the lock and stuck inside. It was dark as you like in there. So I gave the old lamp on the counter a bit of a wick, and that's when...
What do you think you're doing? Ah!
I nearly died, I did. And the next thing I knew... I grabbed the gun off the counter and was waving it in the air like I don't know what.
Ah, you're the girl who wasn't here this afternoon. I don't think pickpockets went in for armed robbery.
The manuscript, have you got it here? The chums leave a lot of papers with you, a story.
I beg your pardon?
The Hound of the something or the other, is it here? I want to see it.
I'm sorry, young lady, but I'd sooner die than relinquish an article belonging to one of my customers.
I don't want it. What would I do with it anyway? I just want to see if it's here, that's all.
Oh, you want to see it, do you?
I want to know if Shob's really pawned it in here or not. Please, just let me see it and I'll go. ...
Oh, very well then. But for pity's sake, stop waving my gun around, would you?
So then the old cove unlocked the storeroom door and we all went inside. And it was there alright, the manuscript. Shobs were lying after all.
You did all that just to check for me, Genie?
Anyway, there was a bit of a kick-up in the main bit of a shop. The Skulkin brothers arriving on the scene, yes. What was that noise? Someone's breaking in.
Oh dear me, is there some burglars convention here tonight that I don't know about?
Oh, I think I forgot to shut the door behind me, sorry.
I'd better go take care of it. Could I possibly have my gun back?
Oh, well, I've come with you and...
Now don't be foolish, young girl. You must stay right here. Don't leave this room under any circumstances.
And with that, he took the gun out of my hands and walked back into the shop. I went back in the storeroom like he said, straining my ears in the dark to hear what was going on. Sounds like they got a bit of a scrap. I started to think I should help, say. So I was just about to go out the storeroom myself when... Bang, bang. I had a couple of shots go off. 2, I think. Almost at the same time. And then here he was, wearing me feet. Lying face down on the floor. I was right next to the storeroom door, so I slammed it shut and locked it quick as you like. Because you thought whoever had shot Mr. Windibank might come for you. Yeah, so I went to grab the old cove gun. I figured I'd put up a fight at least. But when I got a better look at him, I knew. Windibank was a goner. I felt funny in my head all of a sudden, kind of dizzy. And after that, I don't remember nothing. That must be when you passed out, Gina. If I hadn't done what I'd done, the old cove might still be alive. Did you tell the police everything you just told us? Of course I did, but they didn't believe a word of it, did they? All they say was if I kept telling lies, it would make things even worse for me. ...
It'll be alright, Genie, don't worry. Just stay strong a little longer. Bruno's about to put the real culprit through the mill.
Gina, That Corvo was there in the afternoon. That Eggert Benedict. Oh, I still remember how you look at me, like I was nothing. He was there that night. We don't know his real name yet, but I'm convinced that he's involved somehow. Gina, Anyway, thank you for telling us what happened, Gina. I appreciate your honesty. You what?
You can live it all in Rudo's capable hands now, Genie.
Gina, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes? How come you trust me? I don't get it. Yunosuke, I mean, have you forgotten what happened here before? Come on, it was only 2 months ago. Me and McGill did. We told you about a whole pack of lies. And you got the bug troller off with him. Even though he was a killer. No, I could never forget that. Oh. I did what I thought was best at the time. But the pain of that error of judgment doesn't get any easier to bear. Still, don't forget that I also made you a promise. I told you that I'll be on your side to the bitter end, no matter what. But what if I'm lying? You could be working to get another killer off the hook for all you know. We're gonna skate . I was once in your position, Gina. I was the accused in a trial. You were? Before I left Japan, I was accused of murder. And strange as it might sound, the circumstances of the crime were pretty damning. I was sure that no one would believe it if it wasn't me who'd done it.
Oh, Runo.
But there was one person who stood up for me, who believed in me, and was prepared to defend me. My best friend.
Ryunosuke, no one believes if you knew more than I do. Leave this to me. All you need to do is put your faith in me, and I'll do the rest.
I was so happy I cried. But even then, somewhere inside me, I couldn't help thinking, surely he doesn't really believe in me. Not completely. Exclamation mark from Gina. But I was wrong. As soon as my trial began, it was obvious that he had an absolute, unwavering belief in me. And in turn, I developed an absolute, unwavering belief in him. Since then, I came to realize, if you want someone to believe in you, you have to believe in the other person first. What are you saying? I promise you, Gina, that no matter what happens, I'll keep believing in you. So you don't need to worry. I won't let you down. She hides her eyes, ... You've known a diver and a no-good liar. Yunosuke, ... You're not like McGill did, I know that.
That's right, you're our friend, Ginny!
Iris! We know better, we know you better than you think. And we've come to the conclusion that you're someone we can trust.
Yes!
That's really all we need to know.
Exactly!
Mr. Naruhodo, I still has her eyes, and she wipes her tears, sniffle, sniffle. Defendant Gina Lestrade and her legal representative. Court proceedings are about to resume. It's been an hour already. Would you believe that? Please head into the courtroom immediately. Yes, of course. Thank you. It was 12:41 and now it's already 1:41. So already 1:40.
I've been both a defendant and a defending lawyer in my time, so I knew only too well just how hard it was to put all your faith in another. And I also knew just how hard it was to bear the burden of another putting all their faith in you. This is it at last. The final chapter. The final battle. Wish me luck, Suzato-san. And I hope you're watching over me too, partner. "17th of April, 1:41 p.m. The Old Bailey courtroom.
I hereby call this court to order as we resume the trial of Miss Gina Lestrade. Lord Van Zieks, have you successfully subpoenaed the witness?
The subpoena was delivered to the communication station where the man works immediately, my lord. However, the heavy rain has delayed the arrival of his carriage, you will see.
I see. Then let us turn our attention to Inspector Gregson's precise of the case heard by the court this morning. The glaring omission of the third bullet in your report is a serious blunder, Inspector.
Yes, I can only apologize, my lord.
And although the defense chemical analysis of the blood at the scene makes for a compelling argument, I cannot permit such untried method to be used as evidence in my courtroom.
It's a big mistake to cross her than me! A very big mistake!
My lord, the subpoenaed witness has just arrived in the building.
Ah, thank you, officer. Show him to the stand without delay.
Mr. Eggert Benedict. I didn't expect to be crossing paths with him again so soon, and certainly not like this. Oh, so now the skulking brothers are still there, Gregson is still there, but now Mr. Eggert Benedict, their quote, is standing between them.
Thank you for complying with the court subpoena at such short notice, sir.
But of course, my lord. As an upstanding member of London society, it is my pleasure to oblige.
Now, kindly state your name and occupation for the record.
Ashley Grader, communication officer.
AG, like his cane. So Eggert Benedict was 40. His real name is Ashley Graydon. Ash Gray. So he's not as white as one might think. He's gray. There's many shades of gray. Gray ash. Graydon.
Mr. Graydon and I both work at London Central Communication Station. Now perhaps somebody would kindly explain what all this is about?
You were apprised of the situation by the court officer on your way here, I presume?
Yes, I was. Something to do with the murder that took place at the pawnbrokers on Baker Street? And some nonsense about me having been there on the night in question.
That is the accusation indeed.
This really is beyond a joke, you know.
Very well. Without further delay, the court will hear your testimony now, Mr. Graydon. You will respond to the accusation made against you under oath.
Ooh. Aha. Gladly, my lord, gladly.
That was a weird dance that he did just now. I don't know how to describe what kind of dance that was. Kind of like a mix of balladi and something very JoJo-esque. Witness testimony. The accusation.
Naturally, I have occasion to make use of pawnbroking services from time to time. But are you seriously suggesting I colluded with these thugs to break into the place on the night of the murder? I have no intention of admitting of such an outrageous accusation. Even certain parties who were present claimed that my blood was found at the scene.
some Scaramouche detective's homebrewed tincture can hardly be taken as serious evidence.
So you deny the accusation completely, do you?
I must say, I am dismayed. For the highest court in the land to be swayed by this self-professed detective story.
It was the will of the jury, and our great British justice system demands that the jury's will is upheld.
Then it would seem we have the misfortune of a most inept assembly of jurors of today.
By golly!
How long am I expected to be detained here?
If following the defense cross-examination, your involvement in this matter has not been established, you will be free to leave immediately.
Good. Then I shall be away in the time for afternoon tea. Some small consolation at least.
Let's not hold up Mr. Graydon any longer than necessary, Consul. Proceed with the cross-examination.
So we meet again, Mr. Haggard Benedict? Or is it Mr. Graydon?
My apologies, you are...
Ryunosuke Naruhodo, defense lawyer. We have met.
Oh. If you say so, Ashley Graydon, enchanté. So...
Take off his hat. Throws it at him. And Ryunosuke just grabbed it. Whoa! What are we supposed to do with that? Wait, is that the hat from the Phantom Thief in Case Closed? Forgot his name. Well, yeah, it looks like it.
I trust we can conclude this quickly. Hold on to my hat.
But I'm not holding your flashy hat while we do. Here, I'll put it on the candelabra where it's gonna slowly burn. Cross-examination, the accusation.
Naturally, I have occasion to make use of pawnbroking service from time to time.
Hold it!
Yes, we even met in the very pawnbrokery where the crime took place on the afternoon of the day in question. Though, of course, you introduced yourself by a different name at the time.
Exclamation mark.
It was Mr. Haggard Benedict, I believe. Tell me, what made you... The witness is here to testify about events that took place that night. Exclamation mark. He is under no obligation to answer such unrelated questions. You can't be serious.
Thank you, because I certainly do not feel inclined to answer such an inappropriate question.
So he's going to be evasive, is he? In an effort not to give anything away? This could be tricky.
If I may, Thank you. Are you seriously suggesting I colluded with these thugs to bring him to the place of the night of the murder?
Hold it!
Have you seen these two men before?
This pair? No, I don't associate with criminals.
They'd look away. Said by a man who introduced himself as Haggard Benedict.
I'd like to know who I have to thank for this. Who made this outlandish accusation against me?
The young lawyer there in the black.
This is a farce.
This other Jojo dance? Whose idea was it to permit an outsider to work in the British court anyway? Exclamation mark.
Well, needless to say, I have no intention of admitting to such a traitorous accusation.
Hold it!
Where were you at around 1 in the morning on the night in question, sir?
That is past the hour at which I would normally retire. Certainly, I was not in the company of these rapscallions.
You're able to prove that? Graydon,
Objection!
Listen carefully, my learned Nipponese friend, for you appear to be under a gross misapprehension on this point. What do you mean?
The witness maintains he was not at the scene of the crime. He has no obligation to prove his absence. If your accusation is that the witness was present at the scene, the obligation lies with you to prove your assertion. Yeah, we already proved that with the chemical result, but the judge will not acknowledge this as evidence in his courtroom. Exclamation mark. You will fulfill that obligation before putting any more unreasonable question to the witness. Oh. A silent victory wiggle. Thanks. Even if certain parties here present claims that my blood was found at the scene.
Hold it!
Blood was found at the scene of the crime. There's no question of that. Mr. Shom's chemical analysis has positively identified the substance as such. But I am not the only human who have blood running through my veins, am I? How can you be so sure that the blood is mine? It could equally be the blood of one of these two miscreants. Every individual's blood has a slightly different composition, it seems. Mr. Shom's chemical is able to differentiate. Spare me the science lesson! Different blood sample, boy. Who is this Shom's character anyway? Oh, I assume all Londoners would know the name. He's a a renowned detective. So even you aren't able to bring yourself to say great detective. A great detective, you say? Now we're in the realm of fairy tales, are we? Nash, you have something to say?
Excuse me!
You have something to say about that, Mr. Skulkin?
Hey, what? Me?
No, not you. The Mr. Skulking next to you.
Right, I have it up to here with this. How many times I've got to tell you?
Yes, I know you're not Big Bruv Skulky, Mr. Inspector. Mr. Nash Skulkin.
Court blimey, Governor. You what?
Is it not the case that when Mr. Craydon just spoke, a thought went through your mind? Would you care to share that thought with the court?
Me thoughts? I have done none of them. I must have been him.
What? You what?
Mr. Nash Skulkin, answer the question, please. What went through your mind when Mr. Craydon just spoke?
Nothing. Honest, Gov, nothing. I was just thinking, if he waves his arm around like that much more, it'll open up the wound again, that's all.
How does he know about the wound?
What wound? Oh, where he took the bullet, of course. I was only 2 days ago, ain't gonna be healed up yet. So I was, well, you know, I was worrying for him, man. Oh, hell's bells.
Mr. Craydon, did you hear that?
Yeah, he's holding his arm.
What?
Your comrade is worrying about you, it seems. On account of your injured arm.
And now he's holding his arm, my lord.
Yes, Mr. Craydon?
I have no idea what these two riches are talking about. Certainly, I shouldn't be expected to answer anything in relation to this mindless insinuation.
We know that someone other than the victim was hit by a bullet at the scene of the crime 2 nights ago. And from the height of the bullet hole in the wall, that person was likely in the upper arm or whereabouts.
Craydon, ...
Perhaps you allow a court official to examine your arm, sir. The left arm that you're currently clasping with your right hand as if in pain.
Craydon, ... No, I refuse. Exclamation mark. You have shown no evidence whatsoever that links me to these common thieves. Accordingly, I am not obliged to permit any such evasion of my prophecy. As I already said, I'm completely uninvolved in all this. I've never had anything to do with the pawnbrokery where this fellow was killed whatsoever. I take offense at the insinuation that was in any way involved.
You claim you had nothing whatsoever to do with Mr. Windybank's pawnbrokery?
My lord, the defense would like that last statement to be added to Mr. Graydon's formal testimony.
Very well, counsel. Continue with your testimony, Mr. Graydon. ...
The bottom line is, I've never had anything to do with the pawnbroking establishment when the man was killed. Okay, so this was added at the end. This line was completely skipped. Some Scaramouche detective on Brute Trust only be taken as serious evidence. I don't think that's important. But this line, the bottom line, I never had anything to do with the pawnbroking establishment when the man was killed. That's a lie. He said he never set foot in the pawnbroker, but we have a redemption ticket. Which one? Redemption ticket issued from the pawnbrokery owned by the victim, Mr. Windybank, in the form of some handwritten. Is it the one with the box or the one with the code? Yeah, he asked to get his code back, and we have a picture that proves that he was there. We don't have the picture. We don't have the third picture, but I'm gonna go with the pawnbroker ticket code. Oh, I'm back with five life. Okay, I'm just gonna save to be sure. I want to save them. I have a feeling I'm gonna make a lot of mistakes today. So I'm gonna try with the code.
Objection!
No. That reveals that Danny is... Okay, I'm gonna load, and I'm gonna present everything. I'm gonna press everything.
Hold it!
So I'm gonna press the Scaramouche still. Don't forget, sir, that Mr. Herlock Sholmes is the most famous detective in the world. And the most famous detective in the world tells the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Hmm? Oh no, I can't take hope to answer that. I once saw the world's most famous swindler thrown into jail. He allegedly told the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but what turned out to be a pack of lies. Quite. Now, as you are no doubt aware, the Central Communication Station is the heart of this country's information network. My work there is of paramount importance. You have kept me from it for long enough already. And he's doing the motion with his head, like adjusting the edge of his top hat, but since he's not wearing it now, it kind of looks silly when he does it like that in the air.
Hold it!
Never had anything to do with it. You forget that I was there, Mr. Graydon, on the very afternoon of the incident. Obviously, I'm not a complete stranger to the pawnbrokers. I'm currently on the lookout for an armchair to finish my studies.
Objection!
No, you were there to redeem an article. I have no idea what you're talking about. And of course, Grayson's gonna object.
Excuse me!
Because he was there. Like, you can deny all you want, but there were witnesses here. Do you have something to add, Inspector?
Come again, Sunshine?
You were there too, in fact, weren't you, Inspector, that afternoon?
Well, yes, I do remember meeting yourself in the pawnbrokers that afternoon. Your young Japanese assistant and the accused were all present, as I recall.
And at that time, this witness, Mr. Graydon, was trying to acquire a particular article.
Well now.
Exclamation mark?
I'm afraid I don't remember too clearly.
What? But you must!
I'm not going to lie and pretend I remember something that I don't.
What's going on here?
Gregsy showed us a picture before, didn't he? You know, from the cameras that Hurley installed in Windy Banks?
Yes, of course.
Indeed, and the German picture bears a striking resemblance to the witness, I must say.
Exactly, which proved that Mr. Graydon was in the shop on the afternoon in question. At no point have I denied that fact. Exclamation mark. I merely entered the shop to peruse the article on sale and have a word with the broker. Nothing more. Okay, yes, okay, he's eating, but there's a ... Gregson is gonna have nothing to add. What happened with him? What's wrong? This makes no sense. I understand why Mr. Graydon might be trying to cover his tracks. But why would Gregson be trying to avoid giving testimony about what happened? That's all he's going to say on the matter, is it?
What do you think, Bruno?
I think he has no intentions of telling us anything. He's well aware that the less he says, the less chance he has of giving himself away.
The complete opposite of Hurley, then. He seems to think that the more he says, the better.
Well, at least I managed to prise a little more information from these witnesses' lips. All thanks to the Skulkin brothers.
Yes, they were the key to it after all.
So he says he has nothing to do with Windy Banks. Well, we know that's not true.
Perhaps now would be a good time to have a proper look through the court record?
Good idea. You never know what tiny scrap of information would become a valuable weapon. What was the thing with the small box? Okay. So I try to recall. I was hoping like the description will help me give me like who was it for? Because the first one didn't give me didn't help much. February, one small box given back on the 13th. This must be for not. This must be for Gina or McGilded. So both must have not been for McGilded. I'm gonna try the disc.
Objection!
Yeah, it was the disc. Have you ever seen this disc before, Mr. Graydon? ... Why?
Is it supposed to mean something?
This disc was until the day of his murder in pawn in Mr. Windybank's shop. It was redeemed by the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade, that afternoon. However, somebody mysteriously appeared to try and take it from her. And that somebody was you, of course. Wasn't it, Mr. Graydon?
Oh, as I have reiterated numerous times now, you're mistaken. That was not me. I have never seen that disc before in my life.
It may have escaped your notice, but there is a small smear of blood on the disc.
Ah, yes, resulting from an abrasion of the thumb, perhaps.
That's right, the surface of the disc is covered in hundreds of tiny metal bumps. If the skirmish to acquire the disc, the thumb of the person who tried to take it suffered minor laceration. So, while the disc bears the remnant of that skirmish in the form of this smear of blood, the thumb of the person in question must bear the remnants also in the form of a scratch.
Good gracious, indeed it must!
Mr. Graydon, you refused to allow a court officer to examine your arm before. Are you now going to refuse to allow us to examine your thumb? Because I have no doubt that it bears a small scratch consistent with the smear of blood on this disc. Exclamation mark.
Well, well. It seems I underestimated you.
What is the meaning of this?
So you admit it now? You admit you have a scratch on your thumb from where you attempt to take the disc from the defendant?
Order! Order! Well, Mr. Graydon?
It would appear there has been something of a misunderstanding here. I did not attempt to take the disc, as you put it. No, quite the reverse.
What are you trying to say?
Oh, it's absolutely quite simple, you see. The disc was mine from the outset. Is there some crime taking an item that you own out of pawn?
What? It would seem, Mr. Graydon, that in this piece of evidence, my learned friend has established a link between yourself and the incident. Accordingly, you will tell the court everything you know about this disc now.
As you wish, though I'm quite sure it has nothing to do whatsoever with the pawnbroker's murder.
The disc.
There's a note on the disc saying for McGilded, but the item belongs to me. The redemption ticket was stolen from me by the accused, that filthy gutterling, on the day in question. I proceeded at once to the shop in order to explain my situation and redeem my article. In the end, of course, the disc was taken by the police. In other words, I had absolutely no reason to break into the shop later that same night.
Okay, since the only motivation to break in was to retrieve the disc, he wouldn't break in the pawn shop because he wouldn't be there. He would be at the police custody, and he knows that the custody took it.
Did I hear you correctly, sir? McGill, did you say? The famous London philanthropist? Who perished in this very courtroom 2 months ago after being acquitted on a distinctly messy murder?
Yes, my lord. The one and the same.
Good lord, Mr. Graydon! Are you saying that Mr. McGilding and yourself were acquainted?
Yes, that's correct.
Order! Well, I certainly didn't expect to hear the name uttered here in my courtroom again.
According to what Gina told us, this disc was placed in pawn on that fateful night 2 months ago. McGilded himself gave instruction to deposit it at Windybank's.
It's funny that Mr. Graydon here is claiming the disc belongs to him then, isn't it?
In all likelihood, he's lying. So he appeared that afternoon at Windybanks in order to get his hands on McGilden's disc for some reason.
Counsel, you will commence your cross-examination, please.
Sorry, I dozed off a bit. Getting tired. Cross-examination. The disc. Alright.
Hold it!
Would you care to explain how this belongs to you? As you will observe, a communication officer such as myself commands a fine salary.
You are certainly exquisitely dressed, sir.
So you see, I have little need to make use of the services provided by the pawnbrokery trade. However, I did once find myself in difficulties having misplaced my purse while on an errand, which is why I pawned my fine black overcoat to the broker in question. You claim that that was your overcoat.
Obviously, and in my haste, I clean forgot. And the music box disc was in his pocket.
And yet, there is a note on that reads, "For McGilded."
I'm a collector of rare and unusual box music. I first met Mr. McGilded in a gentleman's club in the cities, and I was interested in this to discover. That he had shared my pension in this area.
So the disc in question...
It's a pre-production sample. I promised that Mr. McGill did hear it.
But then you forgot it was in the pocket. Oh, but then you forgot it was in the pocket of the overcoat you were forced to pawn.
Oh, yes, exactly.
Gina didn't mention any of that in her testimony 2 months ago, did she?
No, because McGilded had threatened her to keep her mouth shut. Which means that if we dig too deeply here, it's going to expose Gina's perjury.
Oh dear, this is complicated, isn't it?
Let's leave it alone for the time being. The redemption ticket was stolen from me by the accused, the filthy godling, on the day in question. Oh, wait. I haven't pressed that.
Hold it!
So you're saying that Mr. Straw lifted the ticket from your pocket or bag? That's right, despite being mindful of danger when walking in the insalubrious areas are kind frequent. Okay.
Objection!
Mr. Straw did no such thing.
Well, of course, you take that chance, but the girl is a regular offender.
You came to the pawnbrokery that day prepared with all the information you needed to identify the defendant. You were looking for her. That's what brought you to Windybanks. To get your hands on Mr. McGilden's disc.
Objection!
My learned friend is a veritable fount of nonsense. Nonsense?
I concur with the prosecution. Counsel, you will refrain from conjecturing in this way. Is that clear?
Yes, my lord.
Then I will continue with my testimony for what possible use it can be. I proceeded at once to the shop in order to explain my situation and redeem my article.
Oh shit, I always forgot. Press the wrong button.
Hold it!
Had you ever been to Windybanks before?
Well, only once, for the purpose of pawning something. But like many, I enjoy browsing in such establishment.
So when you noticed that the pickpocket had taken your ticket, you chased after her, is that correct? That's right. I didn't notice at first, of course. Such is the art of the pick purse. Oh shit, I pressed square. But when I did, I headed to the pawnbrokery at once, in order to reclaim my coat before the thief could. I was merely trying to recover what was rightfully mine in the first place. Arg, he can't say what he likes because he knows we have no evidence to contradict him for this. In the end, of course, the thief was taken by the police.
Hold it!
Yes, was taken by Inspector Gregson here, wasn't it? That's right. This was the very man.
Is that right?
Apparently, the police are collecting anything that has a connection to what McGill did as evidence.
Excuse me!
Is something wrong, Inspector?
What do you mean?
The last remark Mr. Graydon made in his testimony seems to trouble you in some way.
No, it didn't. It's nothing. Leave it alone.
Let me ask you this, Inspector. Why is Scotland Yard gathering Mr. McGill in possession?
I can tell you something like that, Sunshine.
What is it, Inspector? Investigative secrets?
Yes, exactly. You should know all about that.
Magnus McGilden, who died so unexpectedly after his trial 2 months ago. A man renowned throughout the capital for his great contribution to public. Yet, he had a dark side too.
Where are you going on with this, Van Zieks?
I suppose the police are dealing with the aftermath of his nefarious activities, are they?
That's enough! Coppers like me have duties to carry out that we're not at liberty to talk about. That's all you need to know.
Duties confirmed by Long Strongheart, I presume. The Lord Chief Justice appears to have great faith in you, Inspector. Da da da.
The bottom line is, if you want to get more out of me, you're gonna need Lord Strongheart's paw print first.
Zig, da da da. What's all this about? It's like there's something going on between Richard Gregson and Lord Van Zieks here.
Well, it would appear that the inspector has revealed all he is at liberty to reveal. Mr. Graydon, let's return to your testimony.
Gladly, my lord. In other words, I have absolutely no reason to break into the shop up later that night. But perhaps you've seen something of value among forfeited items. No, not at all. Oh? A valuer was brought in by the police to assess everything in the shop. Without exception, every article on the shelves was commoner grade or commoner garden bric-a-brac. In that case, it's clear that you broke into the shop later that day in order to recover Mr. McGilden's disc. Have you not been listening, man? Even if I wanted to recover the disc, you may recall that it had been seized by the police that afternoon. It was no more in the shop than that night than I as I keep saying, I simply had no reason to break in. So there was nothing of Mr. McGilded's left in the shop that night? Nothing this man may have been after? Nothing of McGilded left in the shop that night, nothing this, but there was the ticket for the coat, but that doesn't mean much. If the coat is gone... I wonder if that's really true.
Bruno, if you have some evidence, then let him have it. I'm dying to see that irritatingly assured expression of his crumble.
McGilded slipped the disc into his coat pocket and had it disposed of at Windibanks. Then, where he realized was going to be arrested on suspicion of the omnibus murder, he threatened Gina and forced her to take the redemption ticket.
There's no doubt about it that witness is lying through a pair of pearly white teeth.
The police were obviously after anything left behind by McGilded as well, but he was kind of cheap. Well, yeah, remember even the other chapters. That's why Inspector Gregson ended up taking the disc into custody that day.
But Gregsy's being very strange about all this.
There must be a reason for that, I'm sure. I just don't know what it is. For now, I need to focus on exposing the fact that Mr. Graydon is lying in his testimony. And I just realized, like, the police was also focusing on the... what's this face? The doctor? No, I mean, shit. I'm really starting to lose my mind here for some reason. There's a note under this saying from McGilded, but the item belongs to me. The ship ticket was stolen from me by the accused. I proceeded once to shop to explain the situation of reading my article.
Hold it!
Oh shit. Press the wrong button. I'm gonna save here and press. This is the only thing left that belongs to Mr. McGilded.
Objection!
No, that's not it. Okay. He's not here for the manuscript.
Mm-hmm. Still try figuring out what to do. I'll try pressing again, see if there's anything new that's gonna pop up.
Hold it!
First met Mr. McGilt in a gentleman's club in the city and was interested to discover that he had shared my pension in that area. Okay.
Objection!
Objection!
don't think I'm in the right state of mind to continue. It's almost 4 hours. I think I got to stop there, I'm afraid. Yeah, I'm beat. Yeah, I'm gonna. I already saved, have I? Yeah, I saved before. Let me check. Yeah, I saved before this one. Just double check, just to be sure. Alright, this was before my mistakes. Great, great, great. So I'm gonna go back to the title. What we're gonna do is we're gonna check. No. You haven't saved. No. Return to title screen. Back to title. Return to title screen. Save. There's a little something I want to check under special content. Under gallery, portraits. There were other special exhibit from the vault. Under miscellany, I thought there were like more characters. We see the Japanese. No, we see the British. There was Soseki Natsume. Mr. Takumi was asked for Soseki to come across as someone with a very nervous disposition and erratic behavior, so I concluded that this facial expression would have to be a key part of his design. I approached the design from that angle, playing around with various different facial expressions. Even though he's based on a real person, the Soseki of his game has his unique appearance with some heavily exaggerated features. The emotion expressed by his eyes is particularly important part of his design. I hadn't specifically been asked to include the cat, but I sketched a tricolor calico of Soseki's feet that was delighted when Wagahai was picked up and used in the game. So I decided to draw a calico so cute it was in the game. And I just realized that Soseki is standing on Geta, which is our platform sandals that makes him wooden sandals that make him a little higher than he already is, and he's quite small. Next we have John and Joan Garadeb. I really have to work hard on this pair since they're so intimately tied up with the story. Well, yeah, then we see the back that's been burned. Yeah, we can see the back of John Garadeb being burned. We can see his underwear. When he's sitting, we can see the crescent moon. Yeah, we can see the little emoji, like on the notes it says like shaped like a moon. Like with Joan is between a flower, a sunflower, to represent the sun. So the guiding principle for their design was a sun and a moon silhouette, along with the idea of a pufferfish for Joan. Yeah, like sunflower, pufferfish. It's not a drawing of a pufferfish, but yeah, it kind of looks pufferfishy. Compared to the newlyweds of Constable and Mrs. Beat, with their passionate love for each other, the Garadebs are an older couple, and I wanted to show a different form of love in their relationship. Love and abuse. Alright, now we see the Beats, Royally and Pat Beat. There are lots of pair of witnesses who appear together in this game, but I have a firm idea of how I wanted these two to interact from the outset, so I actually work backwards from there. Okay, so now we see, yeah, oh my god, I just realized that Rolly's uniform is raggedy and patched, like he's been resewn over and over and over. And Pat's dress is the same. The long skirt part of her dress has been resewn over and over, even some of the sleeves on the elbow. It's like it's the only clothes that they have. I designed them as a single unit, two people moving and acting as one. The scarf that goes around both of their necks is a good example of that. They were modeled
of the idea of dolls. Wooden marionettes or porcelain dolls are supposed to have a fantasy world image despite being virtually penniless, to bring out their genuineness and their sweet personalities. Yeah, those little dolls that you, with little Velcro that they can attach by the hand. And this is Tobias Gregson, a design Gregson as a stereotypical Scotland Yard detective of the day, his collar turned up and the obligatory packet of fish and chip in his hands. As he's always stuffing them in his pockets, I imagine that his hands and the lining on his pockets are constantly covered in chip fat, lol. Whenever I see him eating, my stomach starts to rumble. Gina Lestrade. Gina was the character who underwent the most changes as a result of story rewrites. Originally, she wasn't going to be a pickpocket at all. Oh. Consequently, I had to redesign her in the later stages of the production process. Her outfit helps to portray a complete lack of money, and Mr. Takumi requested that I make her clothes not quite fit properly as well. What do you mean not quite fit? Oh, her pants are too short. I just realized her pants stops at the knees, underneath the knees, and she's wearing long socks to cover the rest, and she's wearing boy boots. Interesting. That's the reason why her shirt is too large for her. For example, from my perspective, I wanted to allow her feminine spark to shine through from beneath her boyish appearance. Because the shirt is large, they say, oh, it's too large. Like, because the sleeves are wide or broad and puffy, it's like it was some sort of fashion. So, oh no, this shirt is too large for her. No, it fits her well. Like, even the overcoat fits her well, even though she's barely taller than McGilded. Male strong heart. I was aiming for a character who had an immediately palpable presence and whose bearing was overwhelmingly intimidating. My initial design were quite militaristic, but Mr. Takumi asked for Strongheart to have an intellectual image instead, which gave rise to his current look, more reminiscent to a clergyman. His name, Vortex in Japanese, gave inspiration for the styling of his hair. There are also elements of unicorns woven solely into his design, since the unicorn features in the British Royal Coat of Arms. Okay, so his hairstyle is basically a horn-shaped tornado. I kind of see it now, but it's kind of weird. For example, in profile, the front strand of Strongheart's hair looks like a unicorn's horn, as done the cane at his side. Does he have a unicorn's head on his hedge, or... Oh no! Okay. So, the cane is basically a twirling unicorn's horn. It's like he's made his cane out of a horn. But usually unicorn horns are not as long and not as big, so it's kind of silly. I also drew from elements of other creatures like the Black Panther to portray not only his intellectual prowess, but also his ferocity. For his clothing, I tried to bring in features found in Prosecutor's outfit. Prosecutors of old. Okay. Oh, next you have Egbert Benedict himself. This character was designed to have the appearance of the quintessential Englishman. Now we see him with the black coat, the one without his coat, one with his top hat. I had a strong sense that I wanted to go in this direction with this character, so I put a lot of effort into his design and was very relieved when it was approved. His clothing is detailed with elements related to bricks and brick buildings. Because you see brick buildings with that color, and of course he has numerous unusual flourishes and affectations to surprise players, so if any of you haven't seen them yet, do look out for them in the game. Flourishes and affectations. Oh, you mean with the dance?
Well, I would like to give more details about other characters as well, but I think we'll have to call it a day. I really enjoyed this brief opportunity to discuss the game's development with you. Thank you for taking the time to read my explanation, and I hope our paths cross again soon. So, yeah, this is